If you've ever felt like the third wheel, this podcast is for you.
If you love Wheel of Time, this podcast is for you.
If you're bored and have nothing better to do, this podcast is for you.
Join Rob,
Megan,
And Jen,
in celebrating the Wheel of Time
and its statistically best fandom,
and ridiculous gaming skills,
and probably a few cocktails.
and find out which one of them will be the third wheel this time.
This is
three-wheeling.
Hello, ladies.
hello.
How are we doing? It's Wheel of Time week. Have we
Whoop,
found
whoop.
time to sleep and relax in between constant viewing of the television show?
No. Yes. Yes. I had one day, which is because I couldn't watch the drop day until end
Ah.
of day. Most productive day I've had in weeks. I was like, I can't go on socials. I can't look at anything. I can't watch anything. I can't listen to anything. Oh, I think I'll get my work done. This is great.
So what I'm hearing is phones are the devil, and a drop from a show that you love is really good for production when you can't watch it live.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Meg, how about you? You went to bed and like got up super early to watch it when it dropped, didn't you?
Yeah, so I slept from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern. And then I woke up around 2 a.m. Granted, I snoozed a little bit, hopped onto the Dusty Wheel, but started watching the Dusty Wheel while I was making popcorn, making my coffee, all that good stuff. And then watched the episodes from 3 a.m. to 6:15 or whenever. And then got the kids off to school, had breakfast, took a shower, went and read at my kids' daycare for Mystery Reader Month for March, and then hopped onto the stream with Rob. So,
I mean, that's productive even with watching the drop when it dropped. So I don't have any excuse. I'm like,
I mean, for you, it was like starting at midnight, Jen. That's a little different to,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, like I
that's
only
very
woke up about 3 hours before I normally woke up. So it honestly didn't feel as bad as I thought I would.
Yeah, I think going
Yeah.
forward it'll be fine because going to bed at 1 is no big shakes for me.
right.
But
Right.
knowing even if we were only going to watch 2, it was still going to be like 2 in the morning. David had to get up and go to work the morning. He would be wrecked, and he really wanted to watch the first ones with me, and so so did Zach. We'll see if I decide to keep my teenager up until 1 a.m. next week. I haven't decided yet how we're going to handle that.
I mean, next week is, as you can tell, folks, this is going to be a little like we're basically just diving straight into it. But we will do our regular things first. But next week's a big episode, so I don't know if you could torture Zach like that and not let him watch.
I know. I'm so excited.
Anyway, we are going to talk about episodes 1, 2, and 3 from season 3 today. We are going to try and squeeze that all in. Our schedules just do not align for us to do like an individual recording per episode. We're not in that position. However, we will do our best. But before we do that, we're not going to dive through a million socials. But Meg, you had 3 different cocktails for today, and I have not looked, so I do not know which one you picked. So please tell us today what's Meg drinking.
That was not good.
You did not line that up at
It's
all.
impossible to do it. I should just let Rob say it and not try to jump in.
No, you should absolutely
I
jump in.
like
I was
it. I
hoping
like
you
it. I
would,
like
and then I
it.
sort of half paused when you didn't, and then you did, and I was like, okay, I need a better lineup. We need to write a
Kinda
mini script
awkward.
for that, Jen. We need
That's
to write
right.
a mini script. For
That's
that,
right. We should, and then just like have it recorded and just like hit the button, right?
Oh my
Yes.
god, I love it. All right, yeah. So what are you? What's your cocktail of choice?
So if you guys have other ideas on the names, let me know.
Okay.
Um,
Are you giving
but,
us all 3?
No.
Okay,
I did pick one. So this is Elayne's Apple Brew.
Nice.
So the inspiration, so in episode 301, Elayne brews some tasty concoction for the crew using apples from the market in Tar Valon. So I decided to use Crown Royal Apple, which I will be tagging in our Instagram photo or reel. And so anyway, so in a shaker with ice, you're pouring 1 ounce of Crown Royal Apple, 1 ounce of cognac, 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, half an ounce of grenadine, half an ounce of lemon juice, half an ounce of cranberry juice. Shake, then strain into a coupe glass, and then I garnished with an apple slice.
Lovely.
So cheers.
Wonderful.
Cheers. Elayne's apple brew. It sounds Halloweeny and witchy.
It does.
Oh yeah, it does kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, Elayne's apple brew. I can go with that. That's cool. I like it. Honestly, I did think, because you showed us the picture of all three cocktails, I did think you were going to turn up all three today. I was just like,
No.
well, Meg's getting lit.
No, I was just trying a bunch of different things to see which one I thought worked best.
That's fair.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I love it. Good choice. Can't go wrong with a brew that's going to keep you drinking. So, Rafe just posted on Instagram. Like, there's been a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on. Lots of car sharing photos. Like, I wish they could have done this for season 2. I wish there hadn't been strikes and stuff, because can you just imagine how much we would
So
have gotten? So much
Yeah.
fun. But he posted the picture that Ayula put up, or one of the photos she's put up, of Donal and Maya, like having, they're just smiling at the camera and sort of like, loving each other. And the text reads, "If you aren't shipping these two, do you have a heart? Question mark." And I'm like, Rafe, are you teasing us with this right now?
So is Matt / Gall / Chiad / like Melindra? Is that kind of what we're laying down here?
I don't know. I think Maya, they've given some of Gaul's story to Bane and Chiad this season.
Yeah.
That's been said in the
Right,
interview.
right. But I'm just saying, like, Matt being the love interest of Chiad.
Well, as Bane walks out the door, she does wink at him, right?
Yeah.
No, as
She
Chiad
did-
walks out the door.
Chiad, yes.
Oh, but
Chiad.
it is Chiad in this picture.
Yes.
Yes, it's Chiad.
Did
in
I
the
say
picture, yeah.
Bane? I said Bane.
That's
You
okay.
did say Bane, yes.
They're very easily mixed up.
I felt like I finally had it down. I was like, I finally got, David's like, which one is which again? And I was like, it's so obvious. And now here I am. You're in it out.
I said this yesterday to someone, day before, I don't know, the days are blurred together. I said this to someone. I was like, I remember that Bane is Raga, and I remember which one it is out of the two, because Bane is bigger than Chiad in terms of height.
Bane is bigger. I
Bane
like
is
that.
bigger than Chiad.
Yes. Yes.
So that's how I have managed to remember that.
Bane has a hard on for Loyal, and I just love it.
She
I am here for
does. She really does.
it. On rewatch, I was like, oh, she was setting that up earlier.
Mhm,
It's, yeah.
Yeah, like when they're playing Maiden's Kiss, she's like, you can play too.
I just thought I'm obsessed with them, and they give me life. And every time like for second season, I was just like, oh my God, I just want to see more Aiel. And I was like, they're so great, they're so incredible, they're so perfect. But we weren't getting all of this personality and all of this fun with them. And one of the reviews I read about the season was just like, we're getting the lightness back. We're getting some of the lightness. And I would agree with that. Season 2 was heavy and dark. And like, they just provide me with rounds of laughter
Yeah.
throughout. I love it. Love them.
I mean,
So obsessed.
I can't get over. I remember sitting in that screening, when at the end of the first episode, and Chiad comes in and she's like, I have told to you and such, because you saved my life, Builder, and the camera just sort of shifts slightly. Whoever's there doing the autofocus, which I've learned recently, it's someone's job to change the focus of the camera depending on where it's facing in that, which is it's not the computer's not doing it in the camera.
No.
It's someone's doing it.
They've
in real
got a
life,
camera
which is
puller.
a camera puller, yeah, which is crazy.
In fact, there was something on. Sorry, there was something on show. Was it on Showa's trailer that says "Film is still king" underneath? I'm like,
That
they're
was on
shooting
a
on.
lot of the trailers.
They're shooting on film. They're not shooting digitally. They're shooting on film.
Oh,
I've-
well, that's
Really?
amazing.
That's what I'm guessing. It's Europe.
Okay.
It's easier. I don't
Fair
know.
enough.
Yeah, that's my guess.
But anyway, the camera shifts. The focus moves from Maya to from Chiad to Bane. The focus, you can tell she's slightly out of focus, being further back in the screen, and she just sort of points and goes, "I go where she goes." And just the line was delivered so
So good.
it was so
so
funny.
good.
We all laughed in the cinema. Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was brilliant. So
I laughed out loud the first time too, and then on second watch, I was like, "Oh, it's more than just I go with her. It's loaded because, like, I'm sorry, Builder. I guess I have to follow you across the world because I go where she goes." But if you
oh
wanna
my
play
god, I
Maiden's Kiss,
hadn't
I'm here.
considered it like that. Where
When
she's
you
just
rewatch
like,
it,
"Sorry,
you
dude,
rewatch
I
it,
go
look
where
for
she
that.
goes." Like
yeah. Sorry, just happened to be going your direction. It's just great. There's a new animated show called Common Side Effects
Okay.
that we're watching with Zach. Zach really wanted to watch it, and it's really good. And we were like, we'll watch it to support him, and like we're like, oh, it's really good. There are two characters in it. Harrington. I'm trying to look up their names because I can't remember. There are two characters in it. Yeah, Harrington and Capano, who are like DEA cops, like Department of Drug Enforcement, whatever, Drug
Right.
Enforcement Agency. They're so funny. They're so funny. They give me life when they come on screen. They're just like their dynamic between each other is hilarious. They're partners, but they're like they have this long history, and they love it. I love them. And the last night to Zach, I was like, oh my God, I'm so obsessed with Bane and Chiad. And he's like, they're the Harrington and Capano of Wheel of Time. And I was like, oh my God, they are.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
That's perfect. Aside from gushing over Bane and Chiad, where would we like to start? Shall we go through the episode? Shall we do like an episode at a time, maybe? You can tell we talked about this, folks.
Right. But because they do jumble, drop in with a 3-episode drop, they jumble. But yes,
Yeah.
let's talk an episode at a time. Well, like, let's just try to go through it chronologically.
Yeah, because I think that way we don't need to miss anything. So yeah.
Okay.
And this is the first time I've been literally in book reading this storyline at the time of the drop. And I'm almost done with the book. I'm literally like, I'm in El Cardal and it's going to be over in 10 seconds. But it's really hard. It is much harder to keep everything straight.
Which means they're more like the book, you're saying?
Well, in some ways, yes. I mean, like, it is so derived directly. There's so much that's straight from the book, and lines even that are exactly right out of the book, a line directly out of the book. And I'm like, I just read that. I read that 3 days ago. And then Shadow Rising, Mom, which book 4, Shadow Rising. And it's fun. And also I get confused. I mean, I know the books so well, but now I know the show so well. And so I'm like, they set that up. Did they set that up in the book or did they set that up in the show?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't even ask David because he's reading Shadow Rising, so he's getting it all confused.
Oh gosh. Yeah, no, it is like that. The episodes blur together for me. I can never, I very often forget which episode stuff is in.
Thus why I took 9 pages of notes.
Yes,
Wait,
Meg took 9 pages of notes, folks, which are currently in front of us.
Here's my original. I'm showing my on screen since it's a podcast and you can't see it. I'm showing my original Shadow Rising that Mom, who is in chat, bought me the day it came out. And
probably from Walden Books or Borders Books, I would guess.
Borders probably. And then and also it has a page in it with a cat paw print in there from when I was reading this at the barn that I was working at, the barn that we managed at the time, Mom. And Groucho, who was the brother to our cat lady, stepped on my book as I was laying in the hay bales reading this book that summer while I was working at the barn. It's the same one.
That's
and it's
so
still
cute.
holding out. Tor did a good job with this
well, with the hardbacks. The
hardbacks.
Paperbacks
fall apart.
Yeah, one of my paperbacks is finally losing its pages. I'm like, oh no, this is a paperback I've had since I was about 17 years old.
When you make them the size of a brick, and expect them to hold out, and it's not surprising,
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I digress. I'm just
that was a fun side note. Okay, so episode 1. Now we'd all seen the shredding, obviously, but the shredding finishing out.
Yeah.
Have we talked about the shredding yet?
No, we've not.
We haven't even talked about the shredding. Oh gosh.
No,
we did. But we didn't even talk about the real shredding. We didn't.
No.
Did we not talk about the 11 minutes?
No, we didn't talk about the 11 minutes for some reason. I don't remember why, but we didn't.
Was it not out by the time that we last recorded? It was, surely.
I don't know. Well, anyway, here we are ready to talk.
Oh no, I know why we didn't, because we had to get through the through 207 and 208. That was why. Yeah, we'll have to do it next time. Okay. So the shredding, which now, I mean, that was an epic, whole epic thing. But like, for anyone else, does it be like, oh yeah, I've seen this, and you almost kind of want to skip it because we watched it like 12 times before the episode?
Right.
I think Lesby Nerdy said it very good, where she was like, I almost let the sales out of 301 because we'd all watched the shredding like so many times before that. So it didn't seem as exciting, had I waited and watched it all at one time.
Yes, but at the same time, like the place they cut it was so brilliant.
Yes, that's
Because
true.
when we were all like, "What's gonna happen next?" But we
Right.
all knew, we'd all seen the shot of Alana. We knew it was coming, and
Yeah.
so like the not knowing exactly how it was gonna play out was really a
Mhm.
great thing, so that we
Yeah.
could be like, "There's more of the cold open that we haven't seen yet," which is just
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone expected like Maxim and Ivan to actually
Do stuff.
to do all that they did.
Yeah.
They were like, the way the three of them moved, and I understand it's a TV show and there's choreography and all that sort of stuff, but it very much, it felt like the three of them had fought as a trio many, many
for sure.
times, and not just against regular people, but like potentially against channelers as well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Like those guys were, they were killing. Ignoring the fact that they stabbed two Aes Sedai through the heart and they died instantly, and so did Ivan at the end. But then when they did it to, Leandrin, she
Leandrin.
survived for a minute or two and
I
could
think
get
they
healed.
just went too high. They went too high.
I did a side analysis. I think they were pretty spot on.
I think they were pretty spot on. But I think if you can heal somebody's heart as it's bleeding out, you can get in there quick,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, but the argument there is that Ivan died instantly because as soon as he got stabbed, Maxim looks up and goes, "I can't feel him. He's gone."
Yeah,
So like Ivan was out instantly, but the others, there
yeah.
is-
Leandrin twisted when she threw it in there.
Yeah.
Oh, she's-
Anyway, she's just she's a lucky little beggar. So
she's very lucky. She's
Um,
got the Dark One's own luck.
But
Yeah.
those guys, like, honestly, Alana and her waters that was fucking badass. That
It was
so good.
amazing. It was
Yeah.
amazing. It's
It
what we've all
was,
wanted
yeah.
to see for so long, and also like as a fellow Green Aja, it was just like, yeah, that's what they're born for. That's what they've been training for. That's what she's been waiting to do. Like that's why we have Green Aja.
Yeah.
In those first 15 minutes, the Green Aja performed far superior to an entirety of 100,000 words or whatever ridiculous amount it is that RJ wrote. Like,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Green Aja sucked in the books when it comes to battles.
Right.
And Alana's like, hold my beer. I'll outdo 15 books in a
Yes.
minute on screen. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great. It was so fantastic. And the whole, like, I mean, the shredding, because now they are already combined. The shredding plus the like outside in Tar Valon and the streets of Tar Valon are
Mhm.
together for me. And it it is a really it's well choreographed, well written, well thought out, well paced. Love it when they come outside and everybody's mixed up. You're like, wait, all y'all split up, and who are all the now we have different Black Aja we haven't seen before, or different ones,
Mhm.
and some of whom were in the hall, not in the
Mhm.
hall. Some of whom were in the hallway outside the
Right.
hall, and then
Yeah.
suddenly showed up outside as part of it, including Zenobia. Amiko.
Amiko?
Zenobia's character.
Amiko, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I think they say Amiko.
I think they said
Amiko.
How
Amiko
they say
in the
it?
show.
Yeah.
All the names in my
I
head.
know I say Amiko. I've always said
Changing,
Amiko,
changing.
but yeah.
But yeah, it was great. It was really wonderful. But and they're different tactics. Like Amiko and Joya, like I don't think they broke the necks of the two Aes Sedai who were following Swan, but they did something to their heads and their brains exploded and blood was everywhere. Like
Yeah.
that was creepy and horrible and not coming back from that.
And very surprising. I was like, oh!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which,
Definitely.
so to go to that, so again, Jen and you and I haven't talked at all. So I think I did bring this up with you, Rob. So we haven't seen anybody break out of a shield before.
I
Like
loved it.
Swan did. And I think that maybe it's like a capital T with the talent for her because she's so good at untying knots and she's untied knots since a child, that maybe that's like a special ability of hers is to be able to get out of a shield. Easy. I mean, at least easier than everyone else. So
Yes, but if that's the truth, then it breaks my heart because my season 1 theory was that she would be the one to untie the knot for Maureen's shield. Maureen's fake stilling
but she
shield.
couldn't see it. That
I
was
know.
the issue.
I'm still sad. I'm still, because if you're
We can't talk
fisherman,
about
you
season
know how-
one. We have no time to talk about season
I know.
one.
I'm just saying that was still my favorite. Megan's gonna keep us on task here.
Yes.
But I also thought they say in the books, if you try to break out of a shield, it's really painful. Like you can, but it's incredibly painful.
What? No.
Yeah, I think
Painful?
so.
No.
You guys think I'm
No.
crazy?
Yes.
That doesn't
No.
seem right to me.
No, you are making that up. No.
When you push against it and it starts to, it's like you got to
It
keep
doesn't
pushing and it's really
hurt,
hard.
but it's like I wouldn't say it's painful, but I would
All right,
say
we'll talk
it's
about
like
it later.
difficult.
We'll save this for later.
All right, it's hard work, but yeah, I'm not sure I would say painful.
All right,
I'm
all
also I'm not entirely. I just think we saw a shield that was being maintained,
Mhm.
that she was fighting out of, as opposed to
An
It's not tied
untied
off.
knot.
one that's
Yeah, a
tied
tied
off,
knot,
which is
yeah.
what obviously Moraine has. And then even if you want to go back to Loghain's, I think Swan could see weaves. Loghain couldn't see the weaves, so Swan knew
Right.
what to fight against. Loghain was just like expanding his power in general, trying to not be
Mhm.
contained. So I think that was why we've seen differences. But I mean, I'm okay with being wrong on this occasion. You've been wrong so much, Meg. You know.
Yeah, we're gonna give you that. Wait, okay. So I have a
Wait,
question
we
for both
did
of you.
talk about the shredding because we talked about how Meg was wrong with that
No, I
entrance
think
of
that
the
was the
walkway.
only thing we talked about.
Was it? Okay, fine.
Because you like
All
to
right.
say when I'm wrong because it's such a rare thing for me to
No,
be
we like to
wrong.
say when you're wrong
So-
because you say I will die on this hill, literally, and I am 100% right, and y'all are idiots.
Yeah.
That's why we like to say that you're wrong.
I will 100% admit that is correct. That is
is
just how I am.
Okay, all right. I have a
All right.
question for you both. Did the two of you know instantly, as I did, since we're talking about how smart we are, did the two of you know instantly that it was Maureen holding up the building
Yes.
falling on Swan?
Oh yes, yeah. There was no other choice.
Yeah.
It was the only thing that made sense.
Yep.
Through their emotional journey and such,
Yes.
that she would turn up, and I was not at all surprised that they just stared at each other and then Moraine walked off. I had that
Right.
none
But
of that
can we
surprised
say that
me.
sorry, my brain's exploding. How do these actresses just literally not say a goddamn word? And just the looks moved me so much. Like,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
That's That's their
It's-
job.
It's literally what they're paid to do.
But you know what?
I
Here's the
know, but
thing.
it's just really good.
But it's
very
also,
good.
I think that's part of why they're loving this so much because it is their job. But to get a writer who trusts that you as
Mhm.
as an actor can convey what they want to say and convey what's supposed to be under there without putting the words in your mouth is also a gift. And that goes back to this writing team and the trust that they have that they're like, I don't need to write the words down. People will know what's happening. And it's better if they act like real people who don't have to say every word.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
assuming the script at that point would have been like Moraine looks at Swan in this manner and Swan looks back and, Moraine walks off. It would say something like that and then, Rosamund and Sophie have to fill that in and, perform.
Yeah.
Which is, just talent all around. Talent on the script, talent on the performance. So.
A little ASMR there, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah, I decided to
She's-
make a double.
Double. I'm shocked that you're having a double of the cocktail.
I knew we were going to be here for a while. And I got Wally's 40th birthday party tonight, so I'm pre-gaming early.
Nice.
So speaking of the shredding and the running through the streets of Tar Valon after, I do want to go back. I forgot to look for this. I did a rewatch of all three last night, and I forgot to look for this then because we've now been to the docks. We've been to the docks twice after this. Maureen and Rand are standing outside the docks in episode 2, and then Elayne and Nynaeve stand outside the docks in episode 3. They're also there's like archway to the boats.
No, at end of episode 1, they're outside the docks.
Yeah, sorry. End of episode 1,
Yeah.
the first one,
Mhm.
Rand and Maureen. Anyway, so I was like, I want to look at the, like where they're running to.
North
and
Harbor.
where Alana's, they're running to everybody. Of course they're going to North Harbor. Have you watched this season yet? Oh my God. Everybody's getting laid.
I mean, why would they
Everybody's
not? I
having
mean,
sex.
have you ever noticed how the tower looks like a giant dick? So,
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
I did see a meme yesterday that was something like Elayne and Avi getting it on while like everybody else is, getting
Getting
the shit
murdered.
kicked out of them.
well,
Couple
see,
of
I made the joke. So Matt is playing Maiden's Kiss downstairs with Bane and Sheed, and upstairs Avienda's playing Maiden's Kiss with Elayne.
Nice. Nice.
But what is she kissing?
Well, yeah, like there was no spear marks, so she must have been a good kisser. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
So,
I also noticed her look this time when they're like they walk in, and I think somebody says, "Where's Avienda?" Somebody says it, and Elayne like grabs the 2 glasses and just goes, "Doo, doo, 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 doo," and like she has the look on her face like she's like literally being a gray man. She's just like, no one can see me if I move slowly and go up the stairs with my 2 drinks, one for me and one for her. It is delicious.
Yeah.
It is delicious, and I did not catch it the first time. Well, of course, the
Mhm.
first time I didn't know we were definitely going to get to see what I was hoping we were going to get to see. But
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Evelyn, David's very confused.
Why is he
David's very
confused?
confused. Well, because he doesn't even
Well, they're
yet know
not
about
to
the
the
polycule.
point yet where like I mean, because like when they become first sisters and all of that, then I feel like it's definitely more implied, and that's
Mhm.
not until book
Book 6.
Is it 6?
5.
I don't know.
No.
No, it's definitely not 5.
The books for
It's
me
def-
blur more
it's,
than the
it's
TV
6
show
or
does.
later. It's 6 or later because
Yeah.
Egwene has left the building.
It's
that
somewhere
Yeah.
between book 1 and book 14.
Somewhere in there. Somewhere in
That's
there.
true.
But he doesn't
Yep.
like, he's barely had anything about Rand saying like I'm in love with 3 women. The only thing he has seen about that is the Waterwood dream where the swimming.
Right.
That's the only thing that he's even seen to like he hasn't had Rand being like, how can I love 3 different women yet? Like none of that. And so he doesn't know that it's headed for a polycule. And
Mhm.
he's certainly Elayne and Avienda's entire relationship right now is that Avienda is still saying Egwene is like a first sister to me,
Mhm.
and Elayne is her friend, and
Yeah.
Avi's being all, she's doing all of her like I hate you, I hate
Which
you.
that's definitely different from what we're seeing right now, because we're seeing
Mhm.
Avienda and Egwene almost, I wouldn't say antagonistic, but definitely not as close as they were in the books at this
Yeah,
point,
she-
which I think will lead to a nice building of the relationship when they're both Wise One apprentices.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. And
Mhm.
also Rand just got out of the Stone of Tyr, so like Elayne and Rand are running around snogging everywhere. So like
Right.
he's like,
Mhm.
I thought she was all hot and heavy on Rand. What's all this with Avienda? And I was like, nothing. But I did clap loudly and say yes when it happened, and so then he was like, huh? Yeah. Yeah.
There was a cheer in the cinema
Yes.
when it happened.
But
most
now he's
Oh, there
gonna be
was.
waiting.
Oh, so great.
Yeah.
He's going to be
I-
waiting for an explicit scene in the books, though. At some point, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, honey, you got to use
You're
your
not gonna-
imagination.
Yeah, you gotta just that ain't a thing in the books. So.
Just lots
Oh,
of
but it-
baths.
Speaking
and
of which,
Ayula was there. Ayula and Kira were there when you were watching it, and everybody
yeah,
was
they were there.
screaming.
well, we weren't
Oh
like
my-
screaming, but we were just like, yay!
Oh my God, that's
And then
so
it kept going, and we were just like, ooh,
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all managed to. There was like no wolf whistling or anything like that, but you know,
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
appreciation.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, there was happiness that it was happening because obviously the
Yes.
fans think there should be a relationship,
It should
and
be
then
canon.
then there was appreciation of just the whole scene in general. Like it was,
Mhm.
yeah, didn't expect it to go that far, but I mean, they followed that up with Matt just getting the cacophony of Prince fornication, which
Oh my
was
God, that was
That was-
also.
Wait, no,
I
that was
was-
episode 2, technically.
that was yeah. We'll
Yes.
get to that in a
Yes.
minute, but yeah. So yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm
Can we
glad
talk
they did
about
that.
the metaphysics of the bubble of evil? A little bit.
I
mean,
don't know that are there
it's not a-
metaphysics, or is it just Lanfear being Lanfear?
I think it's Lanthe just throwing weaves around.
Well, she can't. It wouldn't be Saidar because Egwene and Nynaeve would have probably been aware of it. I know Nynaeve potentially doesn't see the weaves if she's blocked, but Egwene would have definitely seen the weaves.
Yeah, but
I think
but can't
it's one of
Lanfear-
2 things.
Okay.
Everybody was sleeping. So I don't know if this is some extension of like a Teleron Riyadh bubble or dream spike or something or whatever. Not saying like a dream spike specifically, but like something similar to that. Or they lingered on that probability dice cube. You know? So I don't like, the Terangrial in the 13th depository.
Mhm.
So I wonder if maybe one, she either just snagged it from the 13th depository when the Black Aja didn't take it, or the Black Aja took it and gave it to her. But like, because that's what a bubble of evil is, right? It's like, it's the the Taviran pull the bubble of evil because they're pressing harder on the pattern. And so,
Mhm.
like, these probabilities potentially, like, the probability of some random thing happening increases or whatever, right?
Mhm.
That's
So
a side effect of Taviran. That's not a bubble of evil effect.
no, but the bubble of evil is pulled to them because they're
Yes.
Taviran. So I'm wondering
Yes.
if it's like some kind of amalgamation of the two with that terangrial doing that. So I just don't know. Like,
I
or
don't
it's
see
just
how
the,
she
or
could even with probability Tarangirl, I don't see how she could accurately control what was going on.
She also said specifically to Moraine after cards, an axe, and either in mirrors, I think she said.
Mhm.
But she specifically said the three things that she did.
Right.
So,
So was it
and she
true
specifically
power?
said, what?
Was it true power then?
No, I just think she's I think it's very simple. I think we're overcomplicating this. I think
I
she
agree.
just inverted the weaves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think she just inverted the weaves, and also
But also
Egwene.
not having line of sight though.
Yeah, but
Why does she need line of sight?
Cause that's how you channel.
if you grow up in the fourth age and
If
you
you
don't know
have
any
that,
You mean
better,
the second age?
well, whatever
whatever.
age,
No.
it doesn't matter what age. Like,
Yes,
Aes
the
Sedai
second
channeling
age.
with the hands is a restriction. You don't need to do the
Yes.
hand movements to channel.
No,
That's-
third age. Yeah, second age you would know how to not. You don't need line of sight. Third age you need line of sight.
Because someone's told you can't
Yeah, I said
channel beyond what you can see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just
Okay.
I really don't think it's bubble of evil. I mean, we can all keep calling it the bubble of evil for
Well, I
to
know it's
describe the
not a
scene, but
bubble of evil. I understand that, but I'm just
But I
trying to
don't-
figure
I-
out how she did it.
but because I also don't think it's yeah, and I don't think it's random at all. I mean, I think because she says these are the three things I did, and then those
Oh
are
no, for
and
sure.
yeah, and I think like for all we know, like all she was doing with the cards was trying to freak Matt out and make the things in his head worse and make him think he's crazy, so that he
Because
wants to
those were
leave
the
Rand and
heroes of
stay.
the horn on the cards. And
Mhm.
Perrin's axe was okay, so it was all about their traumas, essentially. So Matt's
Yeah.
trauma is the heroes of the horn, all the voices he's hearing now. So that's why the heroes of the horn on the cards came to life for him. With
Mhm.
Perrin, his trauma stems from the axe killing his wife, and the axe breaks his wedding ring. I don't think she's trying to traumatize Rand. She's
No,
trying
she's
to
trying to-
traumatize Egwene.
Egwene.
Yeah, from one, getting choked by Rhenna,
Mm-hmm.
2, from her. Yes, she had gone through the rings at that point.
Yes.
Yes. So, her accepted test with Rand going crazy. So it was all very targeted for sure. Again, I'm just trying to figure out, like, was it true power? Was it inverted weaves? Was it Tel'aran'rhiod?
I don't think it was Tel'aran'rhiod, just because we
No.
have Nynaeve in the room.
And
with
as soon
Matt.
as she calls out Lan, he runs in, stabs the Grey Man, and then everyone's just like, "Oh, okay." Like, how is Lan running into a World of Dreams moment?
or Nynaeve is not a part of it at all, and the
Because
other
she doesn't
possibility
see
is
the cards.
that Egwene, but see, because we have Bane and Chiad and Loyal in it as well. I mean, I think Lanfear could potentially pull all four of them into the World of Dreams could she, if they were all asleep? But I
Right.
don't think if Bane and Chiad were wide awake, as it seems that they were.
No.
Like, so, unless we'd sort of seen everyone sleeping in different rooms in the inn, including Bane and Chiad, and then, then suddenly they were all in Perrin's room helping. I don't know. I don't think it's World of Dreams. But we may find out it is.
Maybe Matt and Nynaeve's moment is different because they were clearly awake at the beginning of it. So maybe, she didn't do anything to Matt. Maybe she focused on Perrin and Rand and
Can I also
Egwene.
say something else towards Matt? He's been very low on sleep. So maybe because he's so tired and hovering on the edge of sleep, it would be easier to pull him in.
Yeah, I mean, but the Grey Man is an sorry to cut you off there, Jen,
Yeah.
but the Grey Man is such a unexpected element there. She didn't expect a Grey
Right.
Man. She didn't send a Grey Man. That's all McGideon doing that.
I know, but I don't think Nynaeve was pulled in, is what I'm saying.
So you say Matt was asleep standing up, witnessing the cards?
Well, because he's so tired. She pulled him in because he hasn't been sleeping.
Standing up.
I mean, let me tell you, as a sideline narcoleptic,
I fell asleep on a horse
I can fall
once.
asleep in almost any position.
I mean, yeah. I
I know.
can too, but I don't.
No, but she's not trying to injure him. She's trying to make him go crazy. She's trying to make
Right.
him think he's crazy so that he has a reason to stay and try to get it fixed. So she's messing with his trauma is that he
Mhm.
thinks he's losing his mind, and she gives him a reason to think he's losing his mind even more than he thought. So he has to stay. Perrin, I
So
don't
he
exactly
has to
understand how the
stay.
axe is supposed to keep Perrin from Rand's side.
I think she wants to send him home because she breaks the wedding ring and he needs to like atone for what he did to his wife.
I'm sorry. I don't care what's going on with whether it be Teleron Rod, True Power, with Voted Weak,
Mhm.
Kitchen House, anything. There is no way
Agreed.
that she deliberately cut his wedding ring like that. Aside from the
Yeah.
fact it went between his fingers, so there's no way it got even cut in the
Yeah.
rings. That is
Mhm.
a suspend disbelief moment. There is no way she's flipping that axe around with that level of degree that she
Hard
knows
agreed.
he's going to stick his hand up at that moment and get the wedding ring like that. That is
Well, if she's been peeking in his dreams and she knows that he has those dreams, I mean, because you're right, he was just dreaming about the axe and Jephram as well. Like that's what he was dreaming about right before. So if she's peeking,
Mhm.
okay, Meg, I'm all right. I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to the idea that it's a dream shard, and that Nynaeve is in the room. Matt is trance-like asleep on his feet, which we also know that can happen because I just read it. Egwene is on a horse, half asleep, talking, and then and Amis and
and
Melaine are with
yes.
her at the time, and they're walking. I think they're literally walking.
Yep.
Sure. But what I'm saying is that, okay, so Matt's exhausted. She could have pulled him in. I think we're going to learn about it in episode
Yeah.
Teleronrio, episode 5. I'm excited to see it. I think that we're going to understand a little bit more about dream shards and about being able to bring people to those places. And everybody was asleep ahead of time.
And I'm not dying on this hill. I'm
Yes.
just trying to I think it's a good talking point and something to have various ideas. Yes.
Yeah, Maureen and Lan can hear what's happening with Egwene
Mm-hmm.
and Rand. That is that to me is the biggest hole in the theory.
But it's not unheard of that you would scream and whatever in your sleep.
We do only see Matt and Nynaeve.
Mhm.
They go quote rescue. We don't see them heal anybody else. We don't see them visit anyone else's room. Like it's the next morning.
But the other thing is, if they knew that these things had happened in the dream, because okay, let's just say these things had happened in the dream. I'm assuming the mirrors in Rand's room are still shattered. That wouldn't stay. So the wounds and the injuries would stay when they came out of the dream world. But the shattered room, the pillows, all of the things. The Twilight pillowcases everywhere. Sorry, I don't know if there were actually pillow feathers. I just imagine that there's feathers all around the room. I did.
Did you say Twilight pillows?
Yeah, so those things wouldn't still be there. And my thought is, if they woke up in the morning and they were like, my room is fine, this was a dream, they would be having the conversation much more at this point, like, do not go to sleep. Somebody's fucking with us in our dreams in a big way. And so that's the other thing that's poking a hole in it. Yeah.
The wedding ring was actually cut in half. He buried
Mhm.
it. That was real. If that happened in the dream, it wouldn't. There's no way a wedding ring's going to be cut. That's too much minutia for Lanthy to be putting in for that to have been a dream moment. I think that was a real
I don't
moment.
know. We'll see.
Okay. I can buy Matt being pulled into some kind of dream state, and maybe she even just avoided Matt, and maybe Matt's moment was a bubble of evil, like an actual one that just coincided because his Taviran luck is ramping up or something, and Rand's and Perrin's isn't really got going yet. I can buy that, but I'm not buying the others being in a dream.
But
So,
it is an exciting
We'll see.
realm of theory possibilities. I do like that. But I also think it's fascinating that it was Lanfear.
Yes.
I loved her saying to Maureen, "That's the only thing I like about you." God, I could listen to Natasha read the phone book. The way she draws her words out. It's like Ishi too. It's interesting. Both she and Ishi have a way of drawing their words out very slowly. That to me, Moghedien does as well. Maybe this is like a little bit of a we're our native tongue is old tongue. I don't know. It's just interesting.
Well, your channelers from the Age of Legends lived very long. The Ogier, too, talk very slowly because they have very long lifespans.
I love that.
So maybe it's just something to do with that.
that makes sense. I love that too.
Which I love Loyal's line about, why do we have to leave so early in the morning? Can't we have a hearty breakfast first?
Seriously, how many Lord of the Rings
Hobbit.
type moments did we have? That felt like a comment about second breakfast. Yeah.
And the Ogier, and I never made this connection before, but the Ogier and the Hobbits do, despite their very different statures, they have very similar tendencies.
Wanting to
So
sit
I
with their
like that.
books and not go anywhere. Yeah. Also, we all noticed the makeup change on Loyal back when
Yes.
we were first getting images, and I figured it was for the longing because having I had forgotten that he was
Oh.
feeling it this soon until I was like, again, because I'm reading Shadow Rising, he talks about it in Shadow Rising, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I hope they're going to bring that up this season. And then Perrin said it the minute they walked out of the Waygate. Sorry, jumping to episode 2, but
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot that is episode 2 because I want to talk about the Waygate too. Okay, let's focus on 301. Do we have anything else that's major to say about 301 that we haven't
I
already
mean,
discussed?
major, there was a lot of fan moments in there, I gotta say. Like,
Mhm.
we got Snakes and Foxes, we got,
Yeah.
there's gotta be a online fan only service moment where it's like, hey, look, has anyone
yeah.
noticed how the tower looks like a big... That was absolutely for us as
Oh, for
as
sure.
as fans.
Yeah.
That's not there for
I
like...
know.
When are we
you know,
going to get the
anyone
comment
else.
about the map, though?
Well,
of
that was it.
Tar Valon?
At some point, someone's going to open a map, and Matt's going to be there and be like, "All right, 1 second.
Yes.
Have we noticed? Have we
Yes.
looked at Tar Valon on this map?" And then we're just like, "What's your point?" And he's like, "All right, fine. The battle that we're talking about, anyway. It's going to be something like that, isn't it?"
Yeah.
He's going to be like, "What's that? Is that what Tar Valon looks like?"
Let me see. Wait, Min is not in episode 1 at all, is she?
No.
No.
We don't see her till 2. Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right.
No.
We are minless in episode
Yeah,
1.
yeah.
So the only other
Um,
thing that maybe we could talk about is
Well, I
Getting and
literally
making
was
the
going to
Grey
bring
Men.
up about the Grey Men hunting that they fucking made us do, the VFX team.
Just bless them for. Do they not? I mean, I feel like they
Oh
went
my
back
God,
and
I
watched
know. Yeah.
our Twitter exchanges back in 2009 when we were all doing the hunt for the books in
Oh, for
airports all across the
sure.
world. Like
Oh.
I was just like, us so well that like give
Yeah.
us Easter eggs that we can go back and look for. I've
Mhm.
seen a picture, somebody posted one online of like the Gray Man standing behind like one of those grated windows, like a window with a grate.
Yes, behind Matt. Yeah,
And aside from the
Yeah.
shadow, which I saw, like the obvious one when he's like standing in the doorway, I haven't seen any. I literally was like watching it
Well,
last night being like,
I went and got
not paying attention.
On Robin,
Yes.
when I was on with
the
Rob,
timestamps.
we talked
So
about
the first one
yeah.
is behind Matt.
Where else
There's a
to
little
find him?
tiny
Yeah.
window right behind Matt in the building across the street. That's at 20 minutes and 9 seconds. Okay, and then when Moraine is talking to Rand, just the two of them on the balcony, there is a window behind Moraine before she crouches down. It's at 39:12 to 39:16. We're pretty confident that something's going on there because the window goes from black to completely white to a bit more black to white
I
again.
was looking. Okay, go on.
Then there's the obvious one, which is behind Moraine at the top of the stairs. That's 47:59. The shadowy figure over Matt's shoulder, which could be, I'm going to be honest, could be Nynaeve coming into the room.
Nynaeve.
All right, that's an
It
absolute
is Nynaeve.
possibility.
I think I like confirmed that it was.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
not
so that's
sure.
Nynaeve. So that's definitely not that. That's very unlikely to be one in that case. And then at like 52, which is obviously a few minutes later, you actually see them like walking, behind Nynaeve and walking to Nynaeve type thing.
Yeah.
But no one, as far as I can tell, has found any more like in the windows or whatever. There is one in later episodes, which is like episode 3 or something like that. But yeah,
Right, but Rafe again said that there were 6
appearances before the stabbing.
So, and I love them in the
Right.
window, but I really want to I want to see them in public. Like, I want to see them in public so that we.
Wait. There was one, or was that episode 2 that we saw them in public
Behind the girls?
Nynaeve and Elayne?
That's episode
3.
3.
3.
Yeah,
Okay.
before they go and check out
Yeah.
Leandrin's.
Well, maybe
Eludrin
Rafe is saying
cubbyhole.
6 of all 3 episodes.
No, he said 6 before the stabbing.
I know he did.
6
But
before Nynaeve gets stabbed, which is why I did include the
He's an
2
unreliable
that
narrator.
we see at 50. Yeah, that's fair. You do see them very quickly at 52:08 walking towards Nynaeve.
Yeah.
And then 52:26 when he's actually stood behind Nynaeve, and then the stabbing takes
okay,
place.
fine. So he can count that as 6.
So-
all right.
Yeah, so I was just like,
Well-
if we're using his words, then
Maybe it is the one that's behind Matt that I thought was Nynaeve. I might have misread it. So, because I was looking.
I mean, I don't know if it's meant to be Nynaeve, and we all worry about Grey Man turning up, and it's like, okay, look, there's one that's Nynaeve to like put us off. Oh no, it
Yeah.
wasn't. It's Nynaeve.
Yeah.
And then one turns up.
Yeah.
Which is very possible, or it could be that, and we're meant to be put off guard by Nynaeve turning up and be like, oh, that was only Nynaeve. Clearly, we're safe. It's fine. And then one shows up. Like it could go either way, really, couldn't it? So, yeah. I know. At some point, someone just needs to ask Rafe, please give us the timestamps for those
Right.
6 appearances.
Right? Or
you
get the
know.
VFX team to tell us for
confirm.
sure.
The VFX did,
Yes.
yes. But I love that they did that,
I do
you
too.
know,
I
that
do
it's
Yeah,
there.
that was
And
fun.
apparently it's
Yeah.
precipitated by a bell sound. You know how
Yes.
Thane had the whistle?
Well, which I was a little bit like, I wanted to hear the cock crow.
Me too. And I said to David last night, I was like, did we just hear a rooster crow? And he was like, no.
No.
No. Yeah, but the bells, because the bells are Mogedian sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
Love it.
Oh.
yeah.
I guess I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like
Yeah, she creepy
She's
as fuck.
creepy as
she is she's so creepy. I do like how she's been given the Agonor, at least an element of Agonor's powers where she can create the Grey Man,
Yeah.
the only one who could.
And it,
So-
it makes perfect sense. If anybody's going to be creating something who like works in the shadows that you can't see, it's the spider.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like you can come up for
But like,
you know,
okay, was anybody else deeply disturbed when she's
Oh.
like,
When she puts her fingers in his mouth and then
Thanks.
gets off.
oh my god,
And then gets
I was
off?
just like,
Yeah.
yes,
It's
it was so
disgusting.
sexual.
I mean,
I was just
it's-
like, oh my god.
It's not that I'm like, I don't, people can like have their fetishes. I don't care. But like, that's just gross.
Yes, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Like,
necrophilia is you know
It's a
one of the
gray
ones
area.
that-
It's a gray area. Sorry.
it is for her anyway, you know.
It's so
It's
creepy.
kind of black and white for me, but yeah, it's a grey area for
David,
Gideon.
David is like, it's gross.
It's meant to be, but
I
it's still
know.
gross. Yeah, you know, like oh boy.
Yeah.
Good. So
but she's
yeah.
so
She's so
good.
good.
Oh, I can't
Lila's
wait
doing
to see more of
yes.
her.
Yeah,
She's doing amazing.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well that takes us to the
Yeah,
end.
even in my notes, I put, "Why does she look turned on?" Was my question.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
That
I have to say there were I remember when I watched this and I remember saying to people like I laughed, I screamed, I cried, all this sort of thing. There were two moments that made me cry, one of which I expected, one of which I did not. Now I did expect like I expected Ivan to die. I think from the trailer and
Mhm.
things we had seen, it was very obvious that Taylor in Maxim was making it to later parts of the season. We fully expected, Elayne to lose water
Yeah.
in the first episode based on what she was wearing and context of the scenes and such.
Well, in the trailer
Mhm.
too.
And the trailer, yeah.
Mhm.
So fully implied.
Yeah.
The ashes on her face and things
Yeah.
like that. But it was Maxim that broke me. It was Taylor's acting that actually really Elayne, Priyanka. Oh my god.
Well, for me, it was Alana.
Oh, no,
because
like-
she just started screaming, and then because I know I sent my reaction to you, Rob. I was like, that was when I got a little teary.
You did get a little teary up. Yeah, you did. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, Priyanka's was great and it did get to me. I did feel it. But then Maxim also breaking down as well. I was just like,
Mhm.
I can't do both of you. No. You know?
I know.
and him
So that made
saying
me
I
cry.
can't
Yeah.
feel him because I think
Yeah.
we've assumed, we know what a three-way bond or a multi-way bond
a
can
water
be
bond,
like, a
yeah.
water bond. Like we do know this later on, but we don't know for sure that we've never had confirmation. I don't think that the Green Aja who have two male warders, that their warders can feel each other. I don't know that that's actually anywhere.
No,
for sure.
I postulated
I
it.
don't.
It
I don't
was,
think that's book
Uh,
canon.
I
No.
postulated you can feel what the other person is feeling. So I postulate that
He can feel what Alana is feeling.
he can feel
Is
what
that you
Elayne
mean?
is a feeling of Ivan. So
Uh-huh.
she can feel what
Yes.
Ivan's feeling, and as she feels that, Maxim feels her
I think
feeling
it's-
that.
I think it's
I
deeper than
agree,
that.
Rob.
I think it's deeper than that
I
because
don't.
no, I mean if you think about it,
Because in season 2 we find out that he's not really, the bond is kept muted for him.
it is yes.
For a lot of the time, but I think
Mm.
she would have turned it on though for a battle though. You
Yeah,
know what
she
I
would
mean?
turn it on for a battle. She said, and he says that specifically.
No,
like,
I
that's-
didn't mean during the battle. But just in regular life, is she just flip that switch and that switch between them two as well, like when she needs to do it?
That's a good question.
Like, is that just how that?
Or did they have an extra special relationship where she actually created some kind of bond between them, similar, akin to a wise one creating the sister bond? Like, did she? I know that's a bit of a stretch, and it's certainly not like canon
I mean,
and the metaphysics, but because it would certainly make sense for two warders, especially the way they work together. Obviously you train with your partner, you learn your moves, but I think that there's also something about like if you have a slightly heightened ability to anticipate what they're going to do, their moves on Leandrin, just as an example, are like they're so insane.
Very insane.
Right. So
Very insane. Yeah.
and he then says, I can't feel him. it might just be through hers, but I feel like there was potentially something else there. I feel like there's a little more
I
to
mean,
it.
and the metaphysics could change from books to series.
They
so it
could,
yeah.
be different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just curious. Like either theirs is on constantly, or Alana still somehow has some kind of control,
Yeah.
even though
Yeah.
you know, and she can turn it off for the two of them as well as her and Maxim.
Yeah.
Which just I don't know. I just struggle with that one. But could be wrong. Could be wrong. So, but the other moment that made me cry was fucking Lan and Nynaeve when he gives her the
I know.
fucking ring, and I was like,
I
no,
know.
you can't whip out the ring scene. No, this is. I was like, it broke me. It broke me.
Mhm.
I was sobbing in the cinema. Sobbing.
Oh, I love
I
it.
was like, damn you.
Yeah.
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 So yeah,
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
those were the
I
other.
agree.
Those were moments.
Mhm.
I feel like I've seen that ring.
yeah.
I feel like I saw that ring in the Malcurie Origins that no one has seen. Except
Yeah,
for those
that
of
I
us who
still
are at
haven't
Comic-Con.
seen.
No.
You probably did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no, there was like a short clip of that out or something at one point. I didn't even watch
There were-
that.
yeah,
so
there
I've
were-
seen,
They,
like,
well, they had like a trailer type of thing,
yeah,
right?
I've seen a still from it, and that's all I've ever seen. And I'm so gutted because I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna wait. I want to wait for the full thing. I'm gonna do a reaction, and that's when Reddit you were like, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
August.
August.
That's all right. Malcuricon's gonna make you like August instead this year, folks. So
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, any other big moments from this first episode for you? I mean, there's so many things we could talk about, and I'm sure we will in postseason.
I mean, those were like the main ones, I think.
Yeah?
For sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Jen?
mean, yeah. Like, we could literally go through every single shot and I could say something. So, those are the big ones. I mean, Aveline, just delicious and gorgeous and so fun to see it. And
The
I
line
mean-
finally.
finally, and everybody was saying like the smoldering look when we had the still, and I was just like, I don't think so. I don't think it's that obvious. Oh, I was so wrong. I was wrong. I was so wrong.
It's a moment where you like to be wrong, though,
Yes,
isn't
it was.
You know?
I think I was like trying to protect myself. I didn't want to get my hopes up.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, they're just I mean, we talked about this. I think we may have talked about this last time. I can't remember, but the clip we had seen, if you had seen it, of Rand and Maureen talking about going home to the Two Rivers and all of that. Like, it's really gorgeous watching Yosha grow into the character the way Rand is growing into the Dragon Reborn. Like, both of those things are happening simultaneously. And then reading the article that dropped about him, like the whole magazine article that came out this week, and him talking about that process. But it's really like he as an actor, I mean, all of them for sure. But I'll just use him as an example. But he as the actor is following that journey of Rand finding his power as well, and not knowing how to do it yet. And Elayne coming in and being like, he didn't know how to do it yet, Avian, to give him a break. He's got to learn. It was all just tip top.
Which, like, is it just me, or is Rand like hotter this season?
I think confidence does that.
He has more confidence, I would say that, yes.
Maybe that's it. I don't know, but I was like, I don't know. Just like Rand isn't really my type, but like for some reason, I'm like, oh, like a little perked up.
I mean, to be honest, everyone is dying over Bjorn, who's playing
Ruark.
Oh fuck.
Ruark.
Oh my god, his little like reel that he did talking about season 3. I'm like, why do I feel so dirty after I listen to this? Like,
And there we go. See, everyone is doing that, and I look at him and I'd be like, he's not an unattractive man. I can absolutely objectively see that.
Yeah.
But I thought people would find him attractive. People would like him.
Yeah.
You know, especially when I heard his voice. I'm like, oh yeah, people are gonna like this guy. Like, he's gonna be in the hot category.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a whole level of appreciation and hotness I wasn't kind of expecting. You know,
it is. I mean, I literally, like, I watched it and I felt like I was watching porn. Like, I felt very dirty after he just said, Wheel of Time season 3. And I was just like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
I need a minute.
And it's that level for everybody. And I was just like, I can see it,
Yeah.
but I wasn't expecting it to be that much,
Yeah.
if that makes
But
sense.
everybody had
So-
a thing for Ruark reading the books, though,
I know,
too.
but
So,
no,
like,
he's
I feel like
Smolders.
having this
If-
preconception of Ruark and then plus all of that and then his voice, I'm just like, oh my god.
But surely, like, higher expectations, like, doesn't that normally lead to, like, disappointment?
It
Like,
does
well, I'm
usually.
expecting a 10.
No.
If I'm
not in
expecting a
this
10
case.
and I get like a 9 or a 9.5, like, yeah, but this
It
is
goes
great.
up to 11.
It does.
I mean, exception to the rule, obviously,
Yes.
So.
Yes.
He's not my headcanon for Ruark. Although I've told you this before, but my headcanon isn't necessarily physical. It's more like, so he's closer to my spiritual headcanon, if you will. Like, I always get the idea of the person more than the look of the person in my head. But
Right.
yeah, he's the 11. He's well beyond. I like Ruark. I love Ruark in the books. He's like
Mhm.
so much beyond.
Mhm.
And I know we're not going to get the scene with Fael and Berlin because we're not going to get it. We shouldn't get it. But I want to see him sit those girls down. Like,
I want to see him. He needs to sit someone down and have a conversation.
Yes.
Like, that. I feel like we might get that at some point.
yes.
But yeah,
Mhm.
first episode, folks. This was Kieran Donnelly,
Check.
who I also noticed as a director. Sorry, folks. I've also noticed he is now an executive producer.
Yes. So
As are some of them, really. There's multiple that have like their directors and writers and things have become producers, haven't they? Which is great to see. I think.
Uda Bresnowitz was also a exec producer in season 1, and so part of it is if you direct the pilot, you like, so this is no more pilots, like, where season 3 doesn't have pilots anymore, but
Right.
sometimes yes, directors can move into that space. They're yeah, it's great, it's fantastic.
I know. It felt like a good thing to me.
Mhm.
And this episode was written by Justin Joe Gilmer, who is also going to write the finale.
And who's also an EP.
302.
She's
And
EP
yeah,
this
and
season.
also-
I think last
Yeah.
season she might have still been co-EP. I think she was a co-EP last season.
I-
She's EP this season.
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but now, okay, so Race of the Shadow is done. So let's move on to A Question of Crimson. Obviously, still directed by Kieran Donnelly, but this time written by Catherine B. McKenna.
Catherine B. is I think who may be going by KB McKenna now. I feel like I saw.
Is it
something.
Katie McKenna? Okay,
I think I
fair
saw
enough.
that, but I'm not sure. But not in credit. Credit's still Catherine B.
I'm reading
Yeah.
IMDb if I'm honest.
yeah.
So, but yeah. Anyway, Meg.
So, Jen, I want to know. Like, okay, Morgase's coronation. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yes,
Like,
I was too.
what? And she's like smiling through the whole
Oh,
goddamn thing. I
from
was
From
like,
the moment, I wish I didn't see it coming. So that was fun because I didn't see it coming.
yeah.
But from the moment she walked in and she turned around and she said, "We've had a rough succession war, and it's over." Because I won. Like, I was
Yeah.
like,
I know. That
what
was like,
in
I was
the
like,
what in the petty smug
Yeah.
Morgase? This is not my
Mhm.
Morgase.
I was like,
Fine.
someone's cold.
Yes,
Someone's cold.
But
Yeah.
also, like, okay, it makes Elayne's whole journey going to be so much.
Spoiler,
No, no, no,
spoiler,
no, no,
spoiler,
no, no,
spoiler,
I'm not
spoiler.
spoiling
spoiler.
anything. I'm not spoiling anything. I'm
Oh.
just mean like
Oh.
Elayne's.
I was gonna go
Oh,
there.
okay.
We
but-
literally spoke about things that are late in the books like 10 minutes ago. So
Yeah. We did.
Well, I was just making sure that David's.
I don't
not
think he is.
listening or
Well, he definitely isn't because
Okay.
he's not in chat. But also, yeah, it's just like her journey of like a person, of a human. Like, when I think we had seen the clip with Galad and Gowan, like, fighting, and she made some comment about
Mhm.
them a little bit, and so we hadn't heard the hatching plans thing yet. But I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, she comes from a royal family who has a lot of baggage and a lot of like.
Mhm.
Morgase isn't wrong in that you can't have people potentially coming back and fighting you instantly. She's got a daughter heir, or she's about to have a daughter heir. Frankly, Elayne
Mhm.
wasn't born yet. She wants to protect this child who's going to be born in 5 minutes. I mean, there are all these reasons why you can talk about, like, historically, politically, that it makes sense. It's awful. It's horrible. She had members of their family do it. Big brother, please don't kill
Well,
me.
we were thinking it was
Yeah.
like, I don't remember who was talking about it, but it was like these were like, if these women had succeeded to the throne, these would have all been their first princes of the sword because the little girl says,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah.
That was her fucking brother that goddamn fucking
Yeah.
murdered her. Like, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's rough.
And I didn't know
Yeah.
that until I went back. Like, that I didn't, or until like I
Yeah.
heard somebody say something. But
Subtitles for the win, people.
But it was, yes, but it
Mhm.
was also like, it was a really, yeah, I know. I should have had titles on. It was a really great it was just like, we're not fucking around here. I mean, everybody is more brutal than they need to be. And also their public persona, which we hear 10 minutes later between Morghese and Swan, of like, we know how we have to be in public. Hi, friend. I
Mhm.
mean, they're not friends, but they're friends. And I was like,
No.
oh, Morghese is the right age.
I wouldn't say friends, but maybe almost in a sense like colleagues. Like you could think
They
of
were
that.
at the White Tower as novices
Mm,
together. If you think about the
mm.
ages of
Yeah.
everybody, they were probably.
No, 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 no way. No,
What do you mean, no way?
because it's been established in the book. Not sorry, in the show.
Swan's only been Aes Sedai 20
Swan's
years.
80 years old.
How has that been established?
No, they have said that they're like 80.
Who?
Because Moraine is older. Moraine is older than
Anver.
Anver.
Okay.
Right.
And Anver is like 60s or whatever. So Moraine has to be at least 70s or
But
80s.
Moraine and
which
yes.
Suwan would be as
Yes,
well.
yes.
And Morghese is a weaker channeler.
Yes, yes, yes.
So there is no way that she's the same age as Moraine.
Well, no, it's not about age. It's about when they were at the tower as
They
non
could have still
Aes
been
Sedai.
I
accepted.
don't think they
They
would
could have even
They
still
could have been accepted
while
when
she
Morghese
there.
was at the tower.
Well, I mean, again, book canon, not show canon, but book canon, Morghese did not make it to accepted. She
No,
just
no,
got
I'm
her
not
on
No,
saying
the
but
were
they
list.
could have
accepted
still
together.
been at the tower
Yes.
at the same time. And how are you not going to know if the Queen of Andor or the future Queen of Andor
Think
or whatever
about-
is going to
think
be in
of-
the tower? Like,
Exactly. Think about
You know.
Swan and Moraine when they're running through the halls together in hand, saying, basically, like, the Aiel War is over now, let's go home to Cairhien. We don't know how long they had been Aes Sedai. We know book canon they were still accepted at that point, but they certainly don't, they're not accepted there. They're running around in blue dresses. So they're clearly fully Aes Sedai when they were there. And they may have been Aes Sedai for 15 or 20 years, but Morghese would have come to the tower at least 5 years prior to that. Because 20 years ago, she was pregnant
Okay,
with
I
with
agree that
Elayne.
she would have been potentially at the tower while they're there, but I don't think that necessarily makes them
I don't
friends.
say friends.
No,
I
but-
just think they were very
But
familiar
they'll-
with each other. I
they'll
think,
know each other.
yeah, and I think familiar.
Okay, I will say know each other,
Pillow
yes,
friends.
but I would not say to the
Pillow
point
friends.
that what
I'm,
the
I'm
fuck?
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
No.
just fucking with you.
I don't think someone of Morghese's stature would come to the tower and not be noticed by just
Oh no, for
peop-
sure,
people in general.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would say they would at least have a familiarity with each other, and they would probably get lessons from favorited accepted, or accepted who are about to become Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, here's your
Yeah.
here's your last bit before you become bottom of the rung again.
And they're also
know?
playing a little fast and loose, which I love, with some of the tower rules. I mean, Egwene's like, blah, 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 the tower rules. But then she's like, I got my ring, bitches, I'm out, which you can't do in the books.
Oh yeah,
And I love
Oof,
that.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
accepted, they even, when someone calls her, like, Rand calls her Egwene Sedai. And there's...
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, but I don't think it's completely necessarily wrong. There is something about you have your ring, and she's not wearing a ring. She's not wearing a fake ring. She's not wearing a ring that has some fake stone in it, which we always thought like, ooh, they were going to steal some rings and put some fake stones in them or something. She's
Right.
wearing an empty ring. So if anybody in the world does understand that, there is she is accepted by the tower. They're using that word more literally in the show. And I think that
Mhm.
there's something to that, which I also think, again, like novices, novices get sent to a farm if they're fucking around with a stable hand. And clearly the
Mhm.
novices are fucking around with everybody.
With princes, yeah.
They're fucking around with the princes. And Swan's...
And Matt,
Yeah.
or they were anyway.
And Swan's...
Well, Matt was
Matt
trying
so
real
hard. And Swan's comment...
Which, okay, wait, before,
Yes,
can we talk about how he said you should use both hands?
Oh my God, David was screaming. He was...
What
screaming.
moment?
When...
So it was when Clara was in his room, but all we saw was Matt. We all know because we've watched
Yeah,
everything.
Oh,
that
and he's
she's
right.
holding the horn.
He's sitting back.
But he says
and he's sitting back.
use both.
Yeah, he's sitting back with his shirt open, and he says, "Use both hands." And she says, "Like this," and he says, "Yes." And then he says, and then she puts it up to her mouth and makes like a very dirty mouth shape.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and David was screaming. He was screaming. He was.
I did not look at that
Yeah,
scene
yeah,
that
yeah.
closely, but now you've just described it to me again. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, oh,
It's so there.
wow.
It's so there. It's so good. It's
I
so good.
need to. So on Three Thought Talk, we did sound bites from the land trap thing that Daniel Henney did.
Mm,
So I've
mhm.
got sound bites of him being like baby girl and stuff like that. You know, and there's images to match. So I've got an image of Matt looking, you know, like the shirt open type thing and hearts around and just stupid things. But maybe I need to soundbite
Yeah,
that
yeah,
little
yeah.
scene from the show and just be like,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
yeah, two hands,
Yes.
you know.
It's so good. Hold it. She says, I think she says, like, should I hold it like this? And he says, yes, use two hands or something. It's just like, it's all there. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah,
It's so
that's
good.
amazing.
Yes, but you know, so and Swan even says like the novices will never recover because Galad and Gawain are staying. You
Yeah.
know, so like the implication that even novices, can go literally
Just
fuck around with stable boys
fuck
or
around.
princes or whomever, and that accepted are able to leave the tower. You're sealed to us now. You can leave the tower. It's a really I like it. It's nice. It gives Egwene a little bit more power out in the world because essentially like the distinction between novice and accepted is like you've gone through the arches and you have a ring and you can choose your own studies, but you're still like
Stuck there.
you're still
Bound to the
yeah,
tower.
and also like
Yeah.
treated like, you know, really like a child. And so I just think it's a nice choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Rand moment when he was just like Egwene said, I think I took that as him sort of speaking to her future title, being like, oh, you really are going to be Egwene Sedai. That was kind of how it came across to me. But
Perhaps.
yeah, they are very loose,
Yeah.
very loose with, you know,
Yeah.
the freedoms the accepted novices have seems to be far greater. Like the whole, I have the ring, I can leave now. That's it. Like felt a little like it works with how the show is going.
Mm-hmm.
But in the initial moment, I was just like, you can get the ring and just pick up and go?
Yeah,
That
I know.
felt a
Me too.
little-
I was really sort of shocked.
Felt a little strange.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
works. I mean, and they set
Also-
it up last season with Nynaeve.
Yeah, this is true. Can we hop back to the cold open for a hot second?
Yeah.
Cold open for 302.
302, yes. I'm not taking offense, but I am not liking the red wedding Game of Thrones comparison for this. Like it's very different to sucking in all your enemies to a wedding to cause peace and then like kill the entire family.
Yeah.
That's very different to
Killing your rivals.
kill your political
Morcase's
kill
character.
one political
Right.
rival from each family type thing. Like that felt
Yeah.
And people can go, oh, it's good. No, it's not Game of Thrones. It's not a red wedding type situation.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's, I mean, she's brutal,
think
but she's not evil.
To be honest, though, I feel like maybe that was their intention, was to make it as much of a talking point as the red wedding was.
Yeah, but
Well, they want
know.
definitely going for shock factor because she literally
Yeah.
says
Yeah.
all is forgiven, and then makes and then Linny covers
But I
Galad's
can't let
eyes.
you
And you
live.
have a child.
Yeah.
A child getting
Yeah.
murdered. Like,
Yeah.
that's...
Yeah.
rough.
But it's also, again, I like this is sorry going back to gray men, but not really. Going to the gray area of what makes a dark friend a dark friend. What makes a person bad? What makes a person good? If you become a dark friend because you're trying to protect your son, are you as evil as a woman who's not a dark friend and kills a child, you know, in cold blood? I mean,
Right.
it just it's a nice choice to make us ask questions,
True.
Yeah.
which is good. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, it's great.
All right.
Linny sighting. Sorry.
Yeah, Linny
There
sighting.
was a Linny
Linny
sighting.
sage advice.
And Linny
sage
who
advice.
walks into the room fully ready to cover the baby's eyes. She knew what was going
She
on.
knows.
She knew. Yeah, she's familiar. She gets it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So.
So do we want to talk about baby daddy implications? Because I keep bringing this on every whatever stream I'm watching on whatever. Like, is Tarangale
Yes.
1, all threes, 2, Elayne and Gawain's father?
Well,
Because
so
she hasn't been coronated yet,
and
she's already pregnant and had Gawain.
on his CV, one of them's Damodred.
Oh.
Like on the CV, they're all Tracans. Like the actors. They're all
Galad says Damodred.
One of them said, what series put it out? Let me have to go find it now.
Okay, you find it while
In
I
the
talk about it for a
show,
second. They are listed
the
as all from
credits.
House Trakand, which is appropriate because he is Galad of House Trakand.
When they're being announced from
at the White Tower.
the
Well,
hall.
no,
Yeah.
correction. Do they say Trakan for all three?
They say of House
for both the
Trakand, but they
boys?
don't. It's not as a last name. It's of the house. So it's
Right, okay.
Damodred of House
Mhm.
Trakand, Gawain of House Trakand.
All right,
You
so
mean Galad of House Trakand? You said Damodred of House Trakand.
Yes. Oh my God.
I've got the post from what series here, and it's a clip of the credits, and the post from what series says it's interesting that Galad is billed as Galad Damodred in the credits.
Nice. Good.
Oh, okay.
And not Galad
Great.
Trakand per his CV and the official press release.
Did the press release say Galad Trakand, or did it say Galad of House Trakand, or did it say the
It said-
Trakand family?
I don't know. They don't quote that.
I don't remember. I remember that. I
well,
don't trust the press release. The press
Here, I
release was
can try
fucking
to go
wrong.
back.
Why do we put any? Why are we putting
Well,
anything in that
that's
press
true.
release?
They did change some of their press
Marketing
release. Yeah,
teams
they got
don't
some of
know
the press.
the show. I don't care what the
Yeah.
press release said. Marketing teams don't know the show.
Also, just as a side note, I just come across a post of Taylor's that was below theirs, and it's an article where he discusses Taylor Napier discusses Maxim's sexuality and the Messiah season 3. This is an interview with the Gay Times, and his tweet, Taylor's tweet says, "Feasting, fighting, and fucking. Who has time for homophobia? Thanks, Gay Times, for sitting down with me."
Love that.
And for those who prefer an on-camera interview to text, and it's a link to the video, which I'm definitely going to watch.
Oh my
but
God,
also,
that's great.
what a great line.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
It's like the books. Here's another aspect of this series that I just love, which is pansexuality is basically like the game of everybody. It's
Yeah.
not like nobody's having a conversation about you sleep with women, you sleep with men. I mean, the only time it was when Dana said, "I think you two are together," and he said, "If I wanted a man, I could do better." Like
Yeah.
that's the only time
Right.
we've had even like preference recognized in a sense, and I think that's great. And then I think that having sex out of wedlock is like irrelevant. Like she may have picked who's going to be her prince consort. They may not be even married yet. Who knows? Or maybe she is married to Tarangale by this point, because we know
yeah,
in the books that by marrying Tarangale, she helped like solidify,
secure it. Yeah.
secure her role. So he could be there. He doesn't need to be front and center at this point. He shouldn't be.
No,
And
she could just be that could just be the baby daddy, and then she becomes queen and secures her throne by killing the rivals.
And they've been together long enough for Gawain to have been born. So, like, for Galad to say mommy and yell and run up to her is like, Galad is only 2 years older than Gawain, or 3 at tops, like based on the baby and the kid there. So
Yeah.
Right.
he's known her since he was a toddler. You know?
Right. I know. It just makes me wonder. I mean, because in the books, she gets the crown, and then she marries Tarangale to sort of like
Give legitimacy to the previous queen.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
And
And, just to like to make.
Yeah.
Like Jen said, it helps you secure your position because there's a line back to the previous queen.
Yeah.
But I think
Right.
coldly killing your rivals from the war secures your
But and
your
I know. I
throne
just
pretty-
wonder why she was sleeping with Tarangale before she was confirmed for the.
Maybe she was just like, oh, here's a guy I'm in love, I'm gonna have a baby, like, and that's it. And then
well, no,
that
also
didn't work out or whatever.
he was married to Tigraine. He was the prince consort already to Tigraine. So like by moving in and being like, that one's probably too young to marry him. This one's too old to marry him, and that one she's just not smart enough to do it. So like I'm gonna go in and like marry Tarangale, get in with Tarangale as soon as Tigraine left. To lead to that succession war, because. And
Maybe
that would,
they had an affair.
yeah.
Who knows?
And so Galad calling her mommy right off the bat is like, he grew up with her. He didn't grow up with Tigraine.
Right.
So it's an easy.
Yeah.
Who
knows how long the war went on for?
Yeah.
Sometimes the war could go on for years, I bet.
Yeah, because Tigraine, we know that Tigraine, I mean, at this point, obviously, like, she's there getting coronated while Tigraine is giving birth on Dragonmount.
Basically, yeah.
Right, because it
said
said
20 years
20 years ago.
Which means that she's hooked up with Tarangale at least 9 months prior to that.
Well, no, but if Galad,
more.
Gawain.
Well,
More
no,
because
more
of
than
Galad.
that. If
Yeah.
Gawain is,
and
2 years.
for Tigraine to have gone
2
off,
years,
for Tigraine to have gone off
Or
to
a
the
year.
threefold lands and be accepted and trained and then go out and have a baby herself, succession war's probably gone on for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, well, we can look
Easy.
at Galad's age to figure it out. If we say that kid standing there getting his eyes covered is 4,
That's 4, yeah.
maybe
That
5, 4 or
means-
5. So
between 3 and 4. Nah, I'd say between 3 and 4.
I have to look at him
All right.
again. Yeah.
Well, let's say, upper echelon, he's 4 years old. All right, that
Yeah.
means Tigraine has run off at absolute bare minimum 3 years previous.
Well, even, I mean, she could,
Well,
If
no,
he's
I
4,
mean,
she
if
left
we're
right
saying he's
after.
4, she left right after.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh,
4
she
years
gave birth
ago.
and checked out
Yeah.
the next day?
Yes. I think that
Or
I
very
think pretty
close. I
close.
mean, I think somewhat close to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your reasoning for that?
Just based on what the books have
Yeah.
said.
Me
I
too.
think.
She left an
but-
infant, is the way I remember it. She abandoned her infant son.
He could be an infant for months, surely. Am I exaggerating? And also, the show has changed things up.
Yes,
you know?
the show can do whatever the
Well,
fuck they
true.
want. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I reckon she's been gone 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I would,
Yeah.
regardless. Lots more in this episode. We are very, very much on that.
We're literally into the first 8 minutes. Oh my God. This is going to be fun.
Let's talk Waygates.
Yes.
Oh my God. I loved it
The
so
doors.
much.
Yes.
They were beautiful.
We got the trefoil. I feel like this season, I heard someone say, like, this season they're just retconning everything that they fucked up previously. I heard someone say that. And I was like, no, they're enriching.
They're enriching. Yes. Because before they opened the Waygate via channeling, this time they opened the Waygate via the trefoil leaf.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense. I mean, again, like, I know that's not exactly how it is in the books, but I think it's not retconning. It's just making sense that, like, if you're using the proper way with the trefoil leaf, then it makes sense that the doors open via leaves and vines.
Yeah,
and
because it's
whatever.
the power built
Yeah.
into whatever the ways run on or were created.
Right.
We know Padden Fane went through them in season 1 somehow
Right.
with
And
a
he
leaf,
doesn't
because there's the behind the scenes picture of him holding the leaf, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and we didn't see the gates at that time. We just saw him walk out of them.
And they immediately
Yes.
disappear,
Yeah.
which was also
Yeah.
kind of cool.
The
Well,
way they disappeared was very cool.
but it's also like,
Yeah.
so here's what's nice in terms of the choice of making them these 2 columns that you can literally, like, walk up the stairs, walk across, and walk over. It's not the redstone doorway. You can't accidentally fall into the ways. You have to either have the key,
Mhm.
the access key, well, not access key, but you have to have the trefoil leaf key, or you have to be able to channel it open. And so that means like wanderers just wandering through the woods and Manetherin can not end up in the ways.
Yeah. And also,
Right.
for how they were built, because they were built by channelers, it makes sense that channelers would be like, okay, we built this for you, but, while we built it, we built a way for us to use it as well.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know? Like, it makes sense that there's 2 methods, one for the people that built it,
Like
one
a
for the
jump
people it was
start.
built for.
Yeah. I like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
I like that.
It's
That's great.
It's dual use or something.
So, where did Loyal get that from? Does every Ogier have one? Is he renting it? Like,
I would say he just took it off the first one that he went into, like, to get there.
He took it with him though. Like he didn't.
yeah,
it's
he
like
did take
it's
it
as
with
if
him,
he locked
which
the
makes you
Waygate.
think it's
Mhm.
locked.
I think he locked
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I think when he got there, he locked it. I don't know why, but I think for some reason he just locked it when he got there.
Yeah. Okay, I do have
Mhm.
one. Okay. I have a moment of questioning. Are you ready?
Okay.
Book cloak
Book cloak.
incoming.
No, it's not book cloak. It's
Just kidding.
TV writer cloak is what it is, which is
Okay, TV cloak.
Perrin walks through the Waygate. Well, we don't know for sure that that's how the Trollocs are getting there, but Perrin walks through the Waygate and he goes, "A man and a woman have walked here," which I didn't even think. I should have known it was Alana and Maxim. So
Alana and
duh, but I didn't at the moment.
No,
And then a man and a
Anyway,
woman have
we'll
been
get to
here.
that.
What? You disagree?
I disagree. We'll get to that. Carry on your point, Jen.
Okay.
Okay.
A man and a woman have walked here, period. I smell ash, period, which could be the ash on her face. Fine. I didn't know what any of that meant.
Mhm. That's what I was thinking
Sure.
too.
But
Later.
if
Yeah.
the Trollocs have been coming through, how the fuck is he not seeing Trolloc footprints or smelling Trolloc? Sorry.
Mhm.
Falling down,
That's a
Perrin.
valid point. That's a valid point.
Yeah.
He's distracted because what he's smelling is Fael and Luke, not Alana and Maxim.
What? No. It's definitely Alana and Maxim because he talks
No.
about the ash smell.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think it's too obvious. There's the whole, like, when they turn
So-
up, how did you get here? How long have you been here? She talks about ash and he's talking about ash. It's too what? There's too many things going bing, 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 bing. I'm like, no.
So you're saying Luke smells like ash?
No, I don't know whether he smells like ash, all right? Or maybe there was, I don't know. Luke is a bad person. Luke is Slayer, obviously. Thank you so much for
Right.
just booting out my theory, Wheel of Time, about Thane having Slayer powers.
I mean, to be fair, it hasn't been confirmed yet. Maybe he's just some random schmo that's
He could be
nobody,
some
but-
random schmo. Maybe they're giving Padden Thane the ability to shapeshift. Who fucking knows? Like, my theory's not totally out the window, but it's, it's barely got a foot still in it, let's just say that. But I don't know. I think it's too on the nose to be Alana and Maxim. They've asked too much of what they're doing there. How did they get here? How long they've been there? What's going on?
Yeah, why does he not immediately go, I saw your footprints at the ways.
Yeah.
Also, I think like they were the most recent people to come out of the Waygate. I think the Trollocs and the White Cloaks so the White Cloaks came there traditionally.
Yeah, they just drove there.
I think Padden Fane probably brought the Trollocs through because he has the Waygate key as
Right.
well. But again, that would have been potentially a while ago because the White Cloaks showed up after the Trollocs had been there. So I just think the most recent tracks would have been Alana and Maxim, and she smells of ash.
Fine.
Because other tracks would have been like washed away by now because they've been there for like over a month or
I can buy that they were wiped away.
I understand that logic.
Yeah.
I still think it's too on the nose. All the questions, the specific thing he says a man and a woman. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we have two couples. We have Maxim and Alana, and we have Luke and Fail. Okay.
I just don't think Fail would be going through the ways.
She's hunting down the horn, a magical thing.
I agree.
Like, I don't think it's outside the realms of possibility for this guy to be like, look, I can get, she wants to be there first. He's like, I can take us anywhere because I can take us through the ways. She has a lot of ambition about being a hunter for the horn.
But they also say he's in a company.
I disagree.
I think they're underutilizing Luke, first of all. I think, okay, and this goes...
I mean, Luke don't look nothing like I expected. He looks like some country boy just got plucked out of a crowd.
But he doesn't entirely look... I mean, look, he's not... He does look a little too country, agreed, but also he's tall and thin, potentially has some Galad physicality to him. He's not pretty like Galad, but he's Galad's uncle. I mean, in the books, whether or not he is in the show.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because he would have been a Tarangale.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Uncle,
wait a minute. He's Tigraine's brother. He's not related to...
Tigraine's...
Oh, yeah. He's Tigraine's brother. Yeah.
Wait, no, he's Tigraine's brother, so he wouldn't be related to Tarangale. No, because Tarangale was married to Tigraine.
Yes, he's Tigraine's brother, so he is Galad's uncle.
Not by blood necessarily, but
Tigraine gave birth to Galad.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, Tigraine didn't marry him. Yeah. Tigraine was like...
Yes.
Tigraine gave birth to Galad. Tigraine is... So he's Rand and...
Yes.
And in the
Galad's
books.
uncle.
Whether or not he is...
And he's Lan's cousin.
Whether or not he is here, we don't know yet. We don't know if this Luke is going to be useful. Or going to have that role. But with Perrin saying Lord of what? It did make me question a little. So anyway, all I'm saying is that they said something. I don't mind Fail being there with Luke because they're replacing him with those two guys that she was kind of hanging out with when she met Perrin the first time. That's fine. And frankly, I always felt like a little bit of a double beat anyway.
It did.
Yeah.
So it's fine that she's there in a company of Hunters of the Horn, but they make some comment of like Luke and his company or the company I came with. So I think there are more people than just Fail and Luke in this group. That's they kind of hinted at it, and I feel like they underutilized Luke in the third episode, but I don't have to go into that why yet.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can say that in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be Luke and Fael that have come through the Waygate. It could have been Luke and someone else. Like maybe he's gone to get reinforcements. I don't know. I think the Elayne Maxim is too on the nose, and I think it's Luke currently with Fael, but could be someone else. So
okay.
There is our prediction.
There's your theory, and there's my opposite.
Probably,
no.
Probably episode 5.
Yeah. Or we won't hear it again. If we don't hear it again, then I think that's confirmation that it was just Maxim and Alana, and we're expected to just make that leap at that point. If we don't mention why, if we don't mention it,
it just felt like an unusual thing to deliberately put in that moment when you're trying to talk about the longing as well.
Well, we also
follow up on it.
That's fair. But we also then get very surprised to find that they're there, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" I mean, she must have left Tar Valon instantly, and why did she come to Manetheren? We don't really know why she's there.
No, we don't. This is true.
I also have theories about.
Okay.
I'm not why she's there. I don't know why she's there. I've been questioning how they're going to handle the. I think the bonding will probably have to happen. The bonding we all know is going to be coming. But I told
You
Megan,
are you really on the she's going to bond parent train?
I'm not completely far away from it. It would give him some enhanced abilities, but I think she wants to. No.
No.
Wait. I think she wants to, which in the book she's like, I could always use
Well, that
another
is
warder.
canon.
That's canon.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think she's gonna. I think she's gonna bond Shiad.
Oh.
No. What?
Just putting it
And
out
what?
there.
And just
I'm just putting it out there.
by pure
Bane is gonna die.
association,
Bane is gonna die.
Bane is going to die.
And Bane is gonna die, and she's gonna bond Shiad.
You have gone off the rails.
Yes, I have. It is my loony theory of the week, and I.
Here's our soundbite.
Yes, and I want it to happen. Did you see the look Bane was giving Maxim? I mean, no, Shiad. Sorry,
She's just
Shiad.
hot for anybody.
I mean,
no.
yeah,
Shiad's
they're
I
hot
mean,
for
and who
anybody.
wouldn't be hot for Max?
I mean,
that's for sure.
those two are horny as fuck. I literally, when I was watching that, I was like, literally saw them, and I'm saying literally a lot because I mean it. When they walked over, I was like, Taylor, if you say no, I'm gonna be pissed. And then he went, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, my dude. Have you looked at these two?
But it was like there's just some. Oh, I know what it was. It's because I know why I think that. I was like, why did I have that thought? Why did that occur to me?
Okay.
When they're all
'Cause it's
upstairs,
crazy.
when they're all upstairs in the attic, and it is Chiad who says, if you ask the lion to protect you from the bear, and that thing, you jumped into one from one belly to another.
You'll just be in a
One belly.
different stomach.
Yeah. It's so great. But
Yeah.
do you see the look that Alana gives Maxim in that moment? And they're both like,
Yeah, were they just like,
they're like, I like her. I don't know. I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying.
No.
It's my theory. It's my theory.
And I can't wait to say I told you so.
Why would Alana not want an amazing female warrior by her side?
Because I'm sorry, because you have to make it very strange and unusual when Elayne bonds Brigida.
I think so.
It's not
Do
going to
you?
happen. No.
I mean, no, you don't though, because we have.
Oh shit, we're really getting into the weeds here. Oh my god.
Yes, because think about it. That is unusual because in the books, the gender dynamics in the books is so. Jordan is obsessed with gender dynamics in the books. He is obsessed with women in battle or women holding a pitchfork, or like he's obsessed with that in the books. And so Elayne being the first person to bond a female warder that we know of, like it is interesting and it's cool, but wouldn't surprise me.
But there is totally different metaphysics involved as well.
In the books, we don't know yet. We've just said we don't even understand Maxim and Yvonne's bond.
I'm sorry. This is just absolutely bonkers and bananas.
Rob,
like,
it's not that bonkers and bananas, is it? It's not that crazy.
It is. Rob is with me. You are the third wheel. This is bonkers and bananas.
I'm not as against it as Meg is. Okay, I want to be very clear there. But I'm not with you either. I agree there was a look, but when I watched that, I took that to mean as, wow, one of these kids has their head screwed on.
Yes, I did too. The first time, and the second time I was like, more. So I'm just putting my loony theory out there. I don't know that she's going to bond Shiad, but I also don't think that the importance of Elayne bonding a woman is that important. And I think it's more important that Elayne bonding a freaking hero of the Horn should be plenty of excitement around that moment.
That's true.
I also think we need to, we have to have Alana bonding Rand. That is.
Do we have to have that?
Key point. I think so, yes, because that's how they find him at Dumai's Wells.
And I have a new theory that Megan and I talked about last week before the show even dropped, which was not that that's how they find him at Dumai's Wells, but that's why.
You have a theory.
I said
you have a theory.
I said not me.
Okay,
I have a theory that if we are going to have, I've been saying all along, Alana has to bond him. It's super important for the last battle. I don't know that it is. I think it is, and I love it, and I want it because I love Alana so much more in the show than I do in the books, and so I want that to be. I want her to be at the last battle with him. That said, I don't know that we need her to get to Dumai's Wells, and I think to get around the rape issue, to get around the sexual assault, and her bonding him without his permission, I think we might see the same thing that Elayne does with Brigida, and we may see her bond him because he's on death's door at Dumai's Wells. And
Yes, bonding ranch.
yes,
not
Alana.
Chia.
I know. This is my old theory before I saw the episodes and before I got on the Chia
Right.
train.
Fair. Well, okay, so how are we feeling about the bonding parent thing? Because I've seen a lot of discussion around that.
The
and I'm just
bonding
like,
I don't think so.
her
No,
bonding parent. A lot of people are like, oh,
No.
well, she's got to bond someone. It's gonna be.
I think they're making us think that she will, and she won't.
Yeah, like I'm just like, I don't see how that works long term for the story.
Also, Faya
Like,
would take her out.
Yeah, all of
I also
all of
think
his
it's
arc
just
is
setting
just
up the idea that she is I don't want to say unhinged because it's not unhinged, but not in her right mind.
she's
and
dealing
could
with Maxim's
potentially-
grief because
Right,
before she
and
can even
then-
deal with her own.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's just leading to the idea that she might be bonding somebody, I think it's just setting
The
it up.
line of
That's
who owns that grief
Yeah,
when 3 people.
Yeah, that was
And
gorgeous.
honestly, a
Yeah.
part of that as well is like when parents lose a child because you're supporting your partner, but you're also dealing with your own grief. Like that, I think that
Mm.
phrase is actually used
yeah.
in
Mhm.
that circumstance as well.
Mistress Dovey was talking about how just incredibly well depicted the grief is between the three of them,
Yeah.
or because of the three of them.
Mhm.
Because she's like in a a poly relationship, when you lose, if you have I'm roughly saying this, so I don't know exactly how she said it, but like a V style relationship where you have an anchor person
Mm.
for the other two.
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
why the three of you are together. Like there is love between all three of you,
Yeah.
but it's not the way that the two of you love that anchor person.
Yes.
When you lose your anchor,
Yeah.
you are
Mhm.
like what happens? Like what it just, and she's like, the way it's playing out is perfectly depicted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel really good because I did hear some concerns and worries about the fact that kill the black guy who was named in the books
Yeah.
and keep the white guy who's dating
Uh,
the showrunner who's not named in the books.
Yeah.
Obviously doesn't optics are not always amazing in that situation. But
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the grief part is really
But it's a much more interesting story. I mean, I said that. I think I said that last week, even before we heard Alana say it, which was Maxim. Yvonne says, "I fell in love with an Aes Sedai." Maxim says, "I fell in love with a warder." So we already
Yeah.
know he's one step removed from Alana in that sense, and it's a much more interesting and dynamic story to tell. How do they have a relationship, that a literal
Yeah.
physical bond relationship after
Yeah.
losing that anchor point? It's great.
Well, and to even go back to 301, I think it was like the second time that I saw it. It was interesting because Alana was knocked unconscious. And then Maxim and Ivan looked at each
Mhm.
other when they noticed Leandrin getting ready she was going to go kill Alana.
Yeah.
So Maxim is closer to Alana.
Mm-hmm.
So he covers her with his
Mhm.
body. And Ivan is closer to Leandrin. And then he's the one that takes the blade.
And he takes the
Yeah.
blade for both of the people he loves as well.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
he's
Mhm.
him taking the blade. Maxim taking the blade would have meant that he was protecting Ivan, really, in a way. I mean,
Mhm.
yes, Alana,
Yeah.
but Ivan taking the blade means that he's like, my two most important people are in danger, and I'm shielding them both.
And it shows that they all
Ah.
took the bond seriously, like, the duties of being a
Mhm.
warder,
Mhm.
because obviously that's a concern. Like, do I put, and obviously Perrin's long-term path goes through this, like, do I put
Mhm.
the person I love above my duty and responsibility?
Yeah.
And Maxim's like, my duty and responsibility is to Alana. That's what I've
Yeah.
signed up for, even though I did it because I love him. I've got to do this. I've got to protect her. That's how it works. But yeah, like the whole grief between them is just, yeah. I don't know if she's in the right place to bond someone else. I know everyone's dying for it, but I don't think it's
I
gonna-
don't think she should bond anybody
Yeah.
else right now. And I
No.
don't know. I mean,
No.
I don't. Look, the Chian thing is just a fun loony theory I'm just playing with. I don't actually necessarily think that's like,
So
I'm not like
loony.
staking the ground about that.
I'm
The looniest
It's
of
I'm
theories.
down for one morning early in the battle that Alana Alana, Maxim, and Chiad all walk out of a tent together. I'm down for
Right?
that. I got no issue with that whatsoever.
Right?
In fact,
Yeah.
I do remember seeing a photo at one point where actually, this could go the other way because it was Bane, Alana, and Maxim. It was like, hanging out in one of the tents in between, scenes and things like that. But the three of them were in a tent together, and I was just like, do you know what? That'd be hilarious.
Yes.
So yeah, like I'm down for that, but I don't. Yeah, people like I'm getting annoyed. People are like, oh, she's gonna bond parent. She's gonna bond parent. And I'm just like,
No, she's
no,
not.
thank you.
I don't. She's not.
No.
She's not. I know that the question of consent with Maiden's Kiss has come up in the fandom, and I don't know how I haven't seen how people are feeling about it after having watched it. But we're talking about consent in a lot of different places, even to the point of Moghedien making Jaichim Carradine say, "Yes, I
Ooh,
want
that was
it."
not consent.
Horrible and disgusting, but also
That
like,
was under duress.
yes, of course,
Yeah.
it's not,
Oh, for
it isn't
sure.
consent,
Yeah.
but just like
No.
even playing again with that gray area of she has to have him say okay. Obviously it is not okay. There's like nothing is okay about that. But
Yeah.
She's freezing his
right.
blood.
But I think
Yeah.
that the show is
Yeah.
is super aware of that world and of being mindful of that. And so I just don't think they're going to set up Alana to take someone's bond without consent, because she's been even in the point of grief, which is how they've retconned it in the book to say it's a kind of okay that she did that. So I think that that's why I think that there's the possibility that Rand will be on death's door, and the only way to save him will be to bond him. That might make it
I could
reasonable.
actually
If they
see
do
that
it,
being a thing.
if they do
Yeah,
it,
if they do
maybe
it.
they leave out her bond with him. Maybe we don't need it.
Yeah.
I have many
knows?
feelings about whether or not we actually need it. A month ago, I was like, "Of course we do. It's super important. I love this Alana so much. I want her there." And now I'm like, maybe we don't need it. Do we need to? Do we need Nynaeve to be rendered useless and only administering herbs? Sorry. Let's go on. Let's move on.
I'm loving the changes.
Is Megan's gonna like flail me for any other loony theories that I have?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Did you? Okay, I was trying to think of things that we could talk about without
Or
Rob
something
here.
you already talked about.
Were you? Did you recognize Rima right
Yes,
away?
I did, and I was so excited.
I did
was
too.
like, because
I did too.
I think before we even physically see her, we hear her voice when she's working on his mind, and so I was like,
because she said, I think link with me or send me your
yeah,
strength or something.
and I was like, oh my god, that sounds like Rima, and then
I know, I was like, is that Rima?
Yes, and I was so excited.
Yeah,
and I don't mind that we don't know how. I mean, we don't.
Well, I mean, really, thinking back to the end is, to await, Moraine destroys many of the ships.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know that Sarath probably survives.
Yeah, I think.
But I think like it really just, it destabilized basically all of the Shan control in Falm. So I think that, yes, they were able to release all of the Damane that have
Rima wouldn't have been on the ship because she, wasn't trained yet.
Probably not broken.
She wasn't broken yet. And so, someone could have, gone through the kennels to release people. And also because, like if the Shanshan were taken away and gone, like in our, we know that they had a month to think about getting on a boat. They a month to be on a boat. So they had to think about leaving, oh, let's not check the kennels before we go. Let's not.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, Egwene would have been, yes, check the kennels. Let's make sure that we free all of the Damane that have been captured.
Yeah. Loved that. Excited. Someone, so it was very, very exciting.
Yes, I was very excited happy to see Rima.
And also, I like the idea of setting her up as a potential mentor for Nynaeve to some element.
For sure.
Wait, sorry. While we're talking about Rima really quickly, on second watch, because I didn't hear it, I didn't have captions on, and I didn't hear it perfectly the first time. On second watch, watching her say, afflictions of the mind are basically untreatable. And I was like,
similar
not
to death.
for everybody. I got very excited.
Good foreshadowing. Yeah, such good foreshadowing.
Great foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Great foreshadowing. And Matt continuing to say, if anybody can help me, it's you. Very excited.
So were you guys 100% sure that Gabriel was Ravine immediately?
Oh, this is my big, okay.
I wasn't either.
So this is my big, I ended up going on Dusty literally 5 minutes after I finished watching episode 3. And I was like, it was such a humbling experience because I was 100% certain that we weren't getting Ravin because Gabriel was just some Yahoo. And I was like, oh, this is just a nod to us to name some guy Gabriel, and he's so charming. I mean, he fucking worked on me is what it did. He literally compelled me because I was like, he's so charming, he's so charming, and I just adore him, and he's really fun, and I love this relationship with Elayne. And so when we got to the cold open of 3, and with David and Zachary on either side of me, and I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god.
I
Oh my
literally
god.
okay.
Bless you,
So
Rob.
kind of jumping into 303 a little bit
Yes.
prematurely. But so like I saw the little like the archways that we saw from like I think there were like first look photos or something or whatever that we had seen.
I was
land
so
through
sure that
there.
was
And I was
Samael.
like, ooh,
Uh-huh.
ooh. I started like clapping
Yes.
immediately, and I was so excited. And then he came out, and I was like, ooh, yes, he is Ravine. And then
Well, I
was
didn't.
so
I had a
excited.
moment. I did not. I was like, oh, here's some guy, and they're going to call him Ravine. Okay. That means, wait a minute. Wait, is that him? Is that him? And then I paused it, and I was like, David, Zach, oh my God, do you guys know that that's Gabriel? And they're like, yeah. They were just like, could you push play, please, and keep it playing? And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And then on second watching in fact, David and I rewatched it together last night. Like, by the way, David has already rewatched it with me, which is so amazing. And
That's
he was
brilliant.
just
That's
like,
awesome.
oh, when we watched, and I was like, oh my God, of course, when Liana had that moment, of course they
Yeah.
like completely
Mhm.
telegraphed it. And then when and then when Elayne walks in and has like a hiccup, it like, and he was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, oh my God, is he literally doing it on everybody right now? I was like, he is. It was so
Yeah,
good.
that was. I did not pick that up honestly with the Leanne
It
thing.
felt awkward, but I didn't pick up on
Yes.
it.
It did
Yeah.
feel awkward, but for me, I was just like, oh, he hasn't been to the tower in a very long time, or she's met him at some point in the
Mhm.
distant past.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe she saw him like 20, 30 years
Yeah.
ago when he was a kid or something stupid like that, and she's like, oh, you're Gabriel, of course, yes.
And
You
if you
know,
watch Swan's
she hasn't
face,
kept up. Yeah,
and Swan's
so
like,
even Swan's a little bit.
hi.
Yeah,
I know he hit her way too
Oh
hard.
yeah, he hit them with it.
man.
But it's funny, I didn't see it with Elayne. However, then when they were have their drinking moment together, I was like, wait a minute, I need to work logistics here for a second.
Yeah.
And I was like, how? If they've been banging for 10 years, when did he have an opportunity? Because I know he's Raven. When has he had an opportunity to put compulsion, to like make Elayne think he is this? And then I was just like, hold up. There's only one time he could have done that, and that's when he first met them the day before or earlier that day or whatever timeline was. And then my brain went, wait a second.
And
He
there
was
was a
compulsing
pause.
on the fly
Mhm.
because that's why
Yeah.
everybody's pausing when they meet him for the first time. And
Mhm.
I was like,
Mhm.
holy crap, I'm stupid.
It was
And that is
so obvious,
no, but
though.
it's so subtly
It is,
done. Like
but
I mean,
we
it's
all
not obvious
know.
until you go
But
back.
we all
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
We should have
Yeah.
known. I was like, I can't believe I didn't see
Yeah.
it the first time. And it also, but I love that I didn't see it the first
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody can pull the wool over my eyes in a show or a film, I'm thrilled. And it was like,
Yes.
yeah, I was so just delighted by it and also fucking charmed by him. You know,
Yeah.
we were talking about Ruark, but I was like, yeah, and I mean, yes, Ruark, 100%. But I was like, sorry,
So I'm
Rob.
hearing I should get Bjorn on the podcast then.
We should.
Oh my god,
But-
please.
But Gabriel is so charming. Like, I mean,
He is.
it's so perfectly played and perfectly written. And, and he's just like, your brother, he's unlivable. Like, like, it's just delightful. And I was like, I want to hang out with you. I want to hang out with you. I mean, he literally used
I
compulsion
want
on
to
me.
totally have a drink with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he balances the perfect level of, now we know it's because of compulsion, but it's like he is the perfect level of charming without being sleazy to everybody
I know.
in the show.
I know.
Like he
It's very
is
disarming.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
extremely disarming. Gabriel, like the way he is, introducing the people and chatting to them and stuff, like he is really, unless he's adding extra compulsion all the time, like he's skilled.
Yeah.
Very, very skilled character.
Yeah.
So that's going to be dangerous. However, in the cold open 303, obviously I knew it was him walking down. I was just like, okay, this is going to be some kind of meeting. I was not surprised by Moggy turning up at all.
Me either.
I honestly knew she was going to be there. And when he was like, oh, I'll tell the others, Grendel and Semirag, I was just like, yep. I knew it was going to happen. I don't know why I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It just felt like so perfect that he's like, well, I'm just going to charm the fuck out of everybody,
Well,
including the other chosen.
and I knew
You know?
that she would show up. I'm not convinced that he actually did talk to Semi and Grendel, because he could just be playing that card of like,
Oh, he could be
I've
playing
been in
that
touch
card.
with
That's
him,
true.
so that like, because he watched Lanfear react to it, and he was like,
Mhm.
and I loved Mogedion saying, sorry, to stay in that cold open for 1 second. I love Mogedion saying, she's playing exactly the same game she played last time. She's a one note, and I'm changing my tactics. And I was like, Yeah, it was great.
Yes.
It was great.
It's definitely something. So, all right, what else from this episode? Again, we could go through scene by scene by scene by scene.
I mean, so are we thinking that we're not going to see Bran and Tam and Abel because they took Perrin's family away at all this season?
Yes, unless they show up at the end.
I have a concern
Mhm.
about the coffins. I am slightly concerned.
You know
that
Juliet,
Natty-
so I'm getting really nervous by you saying this.
Yeah, me too.
I have not spoken to Juliet
Okay.
about this, and even if I did, Juliet has never once told me anything about the show. In fact, she's like she's a fortress. Not that I've ever asked her like detailed things, but she never even comments on like opinions. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I am deeply concerned that we are going to get a lack of Natty and the girls, because I think the White Cloaks under Valda will kill them. I am concerned
Because
that we
the
are.
girls can channel.
No, not because the girls can channel. I think Dane's gonna get twisted or drunk or whatever it's gonna be. Like things are gonna get bad, worse and worse and worse. And I think that Valda is going to, take over or take command or whatever. Or like at some point, I think the girls are gonna. I worry that we're gonna get the family killed in place of Perrin's family being killed because we haven't seen Perrin's family. Why not have Perrin's family there?
Because we have
I think
Layla.
we're going to see
Layla.
Alana working with Perrin to save them, because that was what they alluded to in 303, I think, was he said we were going to get back Matt's mom and his sisters.
Which is also straight out of
and
the
we
book.
see that, and there is that scene from, I believe it's the full trailer, where like we see Alana like over like a cliff, and we kind of see like she's channeling something, and it looks like some clouds coming in and stuff. So I think she's going to help him rescue Natty and the girls.
I see that. It seemed for me, it's not like we haven't seen Perrin's family previous.
Yeah.
Did we see them in season 1?
No.
Am I wrong?
No.
We
Just
didn't.
Layla.
Just like
And we
okay.
never see them in the books either.
All right.
I don't know. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, of course not, because they're killed before he even gets to the Two Rivers in the books.
I've questioned whether or not we're going to see them killed off screen or hear about it. That Abel and
They've been mentioned like, oh, they're already somewhere safe.
yes, they have,
You
but
know,
that
it just
mean they
I don't
can't
know
be
that.
found.
But Patton Fane has not made an appearance yet.
But also, I
You
don't know. I'm not sure about Natty and the girls, because I feel like that would set up Matt needing to come back to the Two Rivers, or that would set up Matt needing to avenge them in some way. And I don't think there's room in Matt's storyline for that. And he's already been through so much.
No, I
familial
agree.
trauma.
We've already thrown. I always think I've already said we think we're throwing Patton Fane at Perrin as opposed to Matt.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So-
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know. To deliberately be like, oh, we rescued them this, or we got them somewhere safe first, and then I don't know. My gut feels concerned for.
Well,
Maddie and the girls.
I also think for Perrin's storyline though, like we kind of need and want to have him. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna cough. We need to have him have a victory so that he can then take a fall before he has to come back for the Battle of Two Rivers. Like, because that's kind of what happens in the books, is that he's like kind of riding a high because he rescues them,
Trollocs then, doesn't it?
but then they take a really bad hit from the Trollocs because he doesn't know that they're in front of them and behind them in front of him or whatever. And so and then he like his confidence gets shaken. So I just broke something under my desk. Don't listen to that sound of things falling.
I don't know. I mean, I hope it's not the case, but I don't know. My gut just jumped at. Yeah, I just wanted to express I have a concern.
Fair.
You absolutely could do the books, but you could have like his family somewhere hidden in the woods, like they do with Tam and that in the books.
Which, like, does he really need more trauma? Do we really need to kill his whole family?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think we do. I mean, he's got the Layla trauma, but the Layla trauma isn't about the White Cloaks, but also like, he's had, I don't know. I think he's got enough trauma. I don't think we need to kill his family.
Yeah, I don't think like losing Layla was one enough. I think I don't know, like maybe I'm curious how it's going to work out. I currently
You're nervous.
I'm sure in a full season watch it's all going to make sense, but currently after 3 episodes I'm like, it's weird. It's like we got your family out and they're somewhere safe, but we won't talk about them and we won't go and see them, or we won't bring them here like you've just said everyone should stay in the village at the end of the thing. Like it just,
I genuinely think it might just be they couldn't get Michael McAdam. What's his
Yeah,
name?
Michael
That's
Is that
Tam.
McAdam.
right? Mike.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, to come back. I really think that's what it is.
But then
is
why
probably
mention them?
Oh, I
scheduling.
don't even want to think about
You
that.
don't.
No, I
I
think
don't.
to mention them to say that that's why
Could
he's
we
not
please
here.
not have
But
that
that points
conversation?
out.
I don't want
But
to
that
think
points
about
out that they're not there.
Yeah, I want him to.
It just points
You
out
don't want
that
to think
I
of
want him to come back later. I mean, he was already in season 2 for literally half a scene. He was already in season 2 for half a
Yeah.
scene. I don't think that's the issue. Okay, here's my theory. You ready? Another loony theory. It's not a loony theory.
okay.
We have this whole thing with like they're being kept on Watch Hill. We have this like the Two Rivers is different than Eamon's Field. Like it's slightly different in
Right.
the show. There's the whole thing about Fail going to get the riders from Devon Ride. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's possible she goes and gets Tam and Abel and they bring like maybe they get to come in at the end, which would be really
Mhm.
wonderful. And then maybe parent like the ending, like the coda could be that he's like, oh, you guys are here, the mayor's here, like take over, and they're like, fuck no, you figured this out, like you did this, like or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
could
maybe
be.
we see
I
them
just.
at the end.
Yeah, I just think it's weird to be, if you're not going to have his family appear, if you're not going to cast his
Mhm.
family and use his family, saying we've got them out points to the fact that they exist, and then you're not putting them on screen.
It's a Chekhov's gun.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, you know what? It's like it's the Inception thing. I'm gonna want to plant an idea. Don't think about elephants. What are you both thinking about?
Mhm.
Elephants.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
just it just sits there. I'm like, why talk about his family if you're not going to put them on screen?
Mhm.
And if you are going to put them on screen, why have Natty and the girls taken as opposed to his family?
Mhm.
Because that's still vital to him because it's Matt and Matt's his friend. But his family surely would be more vital to him than Matt's family.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, it just there's something there that doesn't flow right for me, currently. And full season it might make sense, but right now it doesn't to me.
Yes. No.
Jen, what
No.
are you
I
thinking?
feel like you had an
I'm not
epiphany.
gonna say
Come
it's about episode 3. I'm not gonna say it.
That's fine. Say it now.
Well, no, we can go on. I mean, we're
I know, but I'm
almo-
debating. I was
the only thing
debating
I
about
want-
saying it anyway.
Say it.
Go
Say
ahead,
it.
say it.
Okay. Thomas Napper is directing both 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are
Correct.
being treated
Okay.
as a one budget unit. So we know how much budget is going to get spent on episode 4. We haven't seen it yet, but we know that it's a big fucking
Right.
episode and there's a
Mhm.
lot of shit happening. And Thomas Napper is directing it and needs to put a lot of focus into that, especially because Rafe wrote that episode. I feel like there's things about episode 3 that are getting the short shaft because they're like, we have to save all of our time and money for the second half of this. And I feel like Perrin's storyline is getting a little bit short shrifted on the front end. I also think that's happening because they're like, don't worry, we're going to pay off Battle of the Two Rivers when we get to episode 7.
Yeah, like it's a slow
Yeah,
burn
and so-
type of
Yeah.
thing.
But
yeah.
I feel like this is my one criticism about the 3rd episode, and I'm sorry, I hate to critique things at all. And his Tavernness of turning everybody from going back to their houses and staying in the Two Rivers, it landed flat for me. It wasn't earned. And to me, the easiest way to have like ramped that up would have been to have him talking to Lord Luke. And Luke is like, yeah, they're going to go back and take care of their farms because that's what they're supposed to do because he's evil and like he's setting them up to fail. And Perrin's like, what are you
Mhm.
talking about? They're going to get overrun. There's only a couple Trollocs here and there. I don't think so. Like, I just wanted that moment to be better earned. And also, it was staged weirdly with all those extras just standing in the green being like, we're all going home at exactly the same time. Felt like
Yeah.
awkward to me. But I feel like they were like, we got to shoot this. The sun's coming up. We have one night to do this. We do not have a lot of time. Throw everybody in there. Let's quickly get this thing going because so much of our time and budget is going to be spent on the next episode. And it's a production question. But I just wish that had been better set up. And I think that that's why what you're saying about like something doesn't feel right about mentioning his family and not doing it. The whole Perrin setup storyline feels like it isn't as tight as I need it to be because they're like, don't
Yeah.
worry, we'll fix it in Two Rivers. When we get to the Battle of Two Rivers, we'll be fine.
Yeah, it's that makes sense, and I can understand that. And again, 303, while Meg's just run off quickly. That what he was saying fell flat for me.
Mhm.
Like Marcus's delivery was, I think he was trying to make Perrin a bit awkward in that moment, where he's like forced him or like got no choice but to be a leader in that moment, and that that kind of worked, but it kind of maybe worked a little too much. But his body language kind of like by the end of it, I was like, okay, there's something about his presence that's pulling people over, not his
Yeah.
words. And I'm like, it then got into the I'm sold enough on it category, as opposed to if it had been, I don't know, there was something about his body language opposed to his words that
Especially
just got it over the line for me.
agreed, and especially because we have those reactions and Fail watching him and like kind of being like, "Oh, there's something to this guy,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "No, there's not. Wait until he shows you." You know?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
it felt very, it did feel a little awkward and a
Yeah.
bit like he wasn't,
Yeah.
he was not comfortable at all doing that. I mean,
Yes.
Perrin, not Marcus. Obviously, Marcus was
Yeah,
was
but
playing
and
that,
it was written
playing
that
that
way.
awkwardly great.
Yeah.
It was written that way.
Because he's written as the reluctant hero or the reluctant leader, and he even says it in episode 1 in that conversation with Rand and Matt. And Rand, he's
Yeah.
like, "You're a natural leader," and Rand's like, "You're good too," and he's like, "Oh, I'm not a leader."
He's like, no, like you and Matt. Yeah, I'll follow you, and Matt, into a vat of wine, but like,
Yeah.
no one's gonna follow me.
Yeah. And so I get that he doesn't believe it in himself, and I love that we're seeing that journey, and it's one of, the best Perrin storylines in the books. It's so great. But they put that scene too early, Ben. We needed him
Yeah.
talking to 2 or 3 people and feeling a little unconfident, but they kind of follow or whatever. Even if he'd been having conversations with people around the wine spring, like walking around, he's like, why are you going home? Well, got to take care of my farm. I don't think you should do that.
Yeah.
Stick around.
Everyone leaving together did feel very awkward at the
Yes.
beginning. I was like, there should have been some kind of like in the thing in the wine spring, someone like rung last orders bell or something, being like, right, come on,
Yeah.
if you all don't leave now, you ain't gonna get back to your houses
Yeah.
before it's too dark, and you
Yeah.
got to worry about Trollocs type thing.
Yeah.
And that would have been the emphasis for everyone leaving, and then Perrin could have been like, everyone's leaving, you're going back to your houses.
Yep.
Even that would have added
Yeah.
some. But I mean, again, that's another 30-45 seconds of footage.
It is. But even saying that in the wine spring instead of like on, because the him standing on the front of the wine spring talking across the green, it just warranted like a bigger moment.
Yeah, they were already like that horseshoe shape,
Yes.
like leaving in a fan. I was like, this,
Yeah.
it didn't quite land, did it?
Sorry, we moved into 203 on that one, but that was.
I was listening.
Yeah, we
the
moved
whole
into
time.
303. Anything from 302 we want to finish off with? Obviously,
Wait. Did we?
there's lots we haven't talked about. If I'm honest.
Oh, just the fact that Lanfear is a fucking bitch and is fucking torturing Egwene.
When she's
in
torturing
Tel'aran'rhiat.
Egwene and she's like kissing Rand, again, like talking about her abilities, she can fucking do a lot.
Yeah,
I hate her.
I was very
I
upset.
know.
I'm like, you fucking whore.
I was like, I knew when we got to this moment, you might be like, yeah, your Egwene standness would be on
was
high
very
alert,
upset.
DEFCON
And
1
I've been
or something.
saying, like, everybody's like, don't you think she'd be dreaming about Rena torturing her every night? I'm like, sure, but I feel like this is very targeted, and I'm 100% positive that it's Lanfear targeting
You were right.
her. Like, this
I
yeah.
missed the okay, so I did not understand again, like watching this with David.
I
and
couldn't
Zach,
tell she had bruises.
Well, when Maureen,
Yeah.
like this is in 3, but no, this is 2. When Maureen pops her neck aside, like pops her hair
Mhm.
aside and looks at the bruises and says, "I thought I healed these. Is he doing this to you?" And I was like, "Oh God, this is really getting gross and dark." And then David and Zach were both like, "No, it's from Lanfear in the dream." Like even before we saw it was Lanfear in the dream, and I was like,
picking up on him.
I
Yeah.
was like, "Why are you two picking up shit that I'm not picking up?" I was so mad.
I thought it was Lanfear immediately, but I couldn't tell she had bruises.
Mm,
I didn't realize
Yeah.
that when she like flipped her head to one side, like, oh, I thought I healed these. I'm like, healed what? I can't see anything.
yeah,
You
yeah.
I'm like,
Also,
love the makeup department,
Mor-
but should have been a little deeper.
But Moraine, personal space, she fucking walks up, pushes her hair aside, and looks at her neck, and I'm like, back off.
Well, I considered it as like a sweet, like
Yes.
wanting to take care of
Really?
your mother.
She does
moment.
it. She
I
does
did,
it pretty
yes.
aggressively. It's very motherly, actually. She does it like a mom. She does it like I'm waiting
Yeah.
for her to go. She's gonna lick her thumb and like wipe the smudge off. Is that a bruise or is that dirt? Yeah, it's very. I do love the Moraine and Egwene relationship being built in here. I'm here to protect him. So am I. Like, and them like starting to become equals. It's really gorgeous and beautiful.
That is very good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Full on fucking spoiler coming right now. Wait a minute. Yeah. The Elayne Morgase scene is in episode 2. When Elayne says I'm staying.
Yes.
Loved it. I thought she was going to run
Yes.
away with Nynaeve to avoid going home with her mom, and her standing up to her and saying, "Is this for Andor or is this for Swan? It's for me. I need to earn it.
Mhm.
I need to be the person who can lead a country, and I can't do that. And I'm not going to be protected there, and I'm not going to be protected here. I'm not going to be safe anywhere. It was fucking insane. Her toe to toe with Olivia is amazing. I mean, Kira's toe to toe with Olivia is amazing. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
then I was like, I'm just desperate for Egwene Swan. I'm desperate for Egwene Swan for the same reason. I want
Mhm.
these young women saying, "You've taught me, you've shown me. Let me show you what I can do." And I just got like,
Mhm.
You mean later on when she becomes Amelincy herself?
that is what I mean.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm just
Yes.
I'm just excited. I'm just excited, and I was like, "Oh, I love this." But in the moment, she's getting it with Maureen too. Like she's getting that same sort of mentoring relationship with Maureen, and that like stepping into, I'm going to ask for what I need or tell you what I need. But also, no, wait. But we do see it with Egwene because we see her say to Swan, "We do." I forgot. I was like, "Wait, I feel
Yeah,
like there was.
I'm
It's
checking
not
out,
just
bitch.
future."
Bye.
Yeah,
know.
when she's like,
Yeah.
"I will come back to the tower on one condition," and Swan's like, "Are you fucking giving me conditions?" And she's like, "I fucking am." And then she does it, and then she takes the ring, and she's like, "Your fucking politicking is fucked up, and you're tearing this tower apart. I'm gonna go do what I need to do. You gave me the ring, and you can't keep me." And I was like, it was great. It was a
Yeah.
parallel of that scene, and I
Yeah.
just fucking
So
loved it.
interesting that, yeah, both to their mothers as well.
Yeah.
So interesting that, I'm accepted, I have the ring. That's it. I can go and come back to the tower.
I'm 18 years
I
old.
mean, that's definitely different than
Yeah.
the books
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
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 So-
Anyway,
Mhm.
sorry. So that's my last. That's what I thought. Episode
Oh,
2
and
was
can I
beautiful with.
also say, as much as like Lanfear's a whore and I hate her, but love her,
Matt
but
Hatch,
hate
don't
her.
listen, please.
When she called Egwene a doe-eyed cow, I did laugh a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And then she's like, and so did David. She's like, and that's where I draw the that's where you draw the line? Name calling? She's
Name
literally
calling,
like,
yeah.
you didn't care that I fucking stabbed the shit out of her with your doppelgangers, but name calling
Right.
is
That's where we stop it, dude.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Rand
honestly did
Rand
think-
doesn't know it was her.
No.
No.
I
mean,
was
we all do.
Yeah,
but
there was a moment, I think episode 3 or something, where I was just like, oh, this is where she finds out it's Lanfear and Rand have a thing together and blah blah, and I'm like, this is it, and then it wasn't. I was
Nope.
like, you're teasing me.
Yeah, I watched your reaction. I was like, oh
No,
Rob.
they're gonna
No,
play us
no.
along longer. I thought so too. I thought it was gonna happen earlier in the season. She's gonna discover that in episode Tell Around Rod.
No, I'm still, it's going to
Yeah.
be when the wise ones are teaching her
Yeah.
how to enter
Mm.
someone's
sure.
dream, and she enters Rand's dream and sees
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And because I think they're trying to still string along their relationship a little bit,
Oh, yeah.
and then we're going to start to see
Oh, yeah.
it fracture later. Yeah.
What else we got in here?
Okay. Anything else for
I love
202 or 302?
these are quick ones. I love how Rand describes the power.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh,
Dying of
With the
thirst.
sweetness and the
yes.
bitterness.
And Moraine. We've seen her. Okay, so last season we got to see her on her back foot. Like she was definitely not in her. Now she's like, I got my power back. And then she's like, oh fuck, I really don't know shit. We see her like her look at Swan is just gorgeous, but it's also conflicted and beautiful. Then Rand is like, you can't fucking tell me what to do. Then Egwene is like, you're not the boss of me. I'm here to protect him. And then after that, Rand says, you don't understand. And she's like, yes, I do, small child. I've been channeling since before you were born. I understand. Oh fuck, I don't understand that at all. And it's the most we've ever seen in her face. Her mouth is open, like she's in literal shock. It's as shocked as Maureen can be.
And disgusted. I
yeah,
think.
and she's like,
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know what you're going through. And but then she comes back with, but you better fucking figure it out. It's so good.
Yes.
It's so good.
True.
I do. I love the way.
And
he
the other
describes
thing
it.
is, obviously that really comes to fruition in the third episode, but Elida.
Yeah, how have we not talked about Elida at all? How have we not talked
It's
about
weird.
Elida at all? Where are we at the end of season 2, episode 2?
I forgot two things. Firstly, just how amazing Shure is. Like she obviously she has a very distinct voice, but
she's very understated too.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she
with her
has a lot of
politics,
like
yeah.
her the inflection is just insane, but also just like her presence of everything. I was like, oh my god. I do not like Elida as a character, which just shows how well Elida is written, to be honest. Because if you have strong feelings about a character, they're well written, at least to you. But I am not okay with like Leandrin. I've come to terms with liking Leandrin. I've come to terms with that. I really like. I don't know if I can like someone who is not evil but actually just dangerous for incompetence and arrogance,
Yeah.
which is a very dangerous combination. And I'm like, no, you can't do this to me, Shorey. Like, Elayne is fucking fabulous.
I mean, she is almost like, you know how we see Aes Sedai in the books is like they really don't show a lot and they're very serene, and like she is playing that to the T. Like she is not showing her hands.
Except when
all,
she's
I
alone
feel
in
like.
that one moment when she literally shows her hand trembling and she knocks all the stuff off of her thing.
There's a lot of speculation around that, isn't it? Now we're in 303 now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But that's
We can
fine.
get there.
It's a good segue
Yeah.
because
And she's
then
so
we can
she's just so also that she was like but in the cold open of 2 that she was integral in the succession is also fascinating and great. Like,
which leads to what we all know as she gets her foretellings and then
Attaches
she
herself.
assumes that she's the orchestrator of everything, right? Because of what she sees. So she chooses House Turkand for whatever reason, I don't know, and assumes that she's instrumental in getting them the throne and then therefore is helping the last battle or whatever, right? So I think that just leads us to see how flawed she is in her foretellings later.
But we still don't know. I mean, we still also like her foretelling that the royal line of Andor will be key in the last battle is true. And she did know it was
On many fronts.
and she knew it was
Yeah.
potentially like it is the Turkand line, but it is also the Tigray line. I mean, obviously, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about her bracelet.
Yeah. So I definitely saw a snake. I wasn't sure it was
there's a fox
foxes.
in the
There's a
in the
yeah.
picture in the
Fox.
behind the scenes.
Okay.
So I haven't watched the behind the scenes, but there's like a
It's the Shora.
the
It's the
hu-
Shora thing.
it's Shorey's behind the scene things. Yeah, someone paused it and looked. I was like, oh my god, it's on there.
It was me.
That was you.
I sent it in the
There-
Discord.
There we go. It was yes.
Yeah.
See, so many people posting so many things. I'm like, someone posted this. I'm not sure who.
But it straight up says Eelfin, and
Yeah.
it straight up has a snake on one side and a fox on the other. Because the still from the show only shows you the snake. It's only that BTS that shows you the fox.
Well, and then the BTS, like, so it was like talking about her costume. And it said Redstone Ecclepin bracelet, always worn on right
It's not
hand. Very
Ecclepin, it says
important part
Eelfin.
of costume.
That says
It says
Eelfin.
Eelfin.
Oh, it does say Eelfin.
Ladies and gentlemen, just
was
more
like, what the
proof that
fuck is an
Megan is a
Ecclepin?
mathematics teacher, not an English teacher.
Not a spelling teacher. It says Eelfin.
That looked like an ECLPIN. That's what it looked like.
Squint a little.
I was like, what
Squint
is
a little, it'll turn into Eelfin.
Ecclepin.
Straight up says Eelfin.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Okay,
so-
well, that changes things, certainly.
I postulate that she doesn't get her visions regularly. I reckon that she went through the doorway and then made a deal. And part of it is
To
when they
get the foretelling?
to get the bracelet, the foretellings. Yeah, like I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's actually a seer. I think that the bracelet enables her to be a seer. And then they get like her essence or something as a result.
She
you know?
saw it as a way to get power, and she, Now, is the tremors from the bracelet and that they are stealing her essence or something? Or is the tremors, somebody mentioned this and I thought this, at first I was like, huh? And then I was like, oh, we have Yasika told us that Shiriam would have been was writing in the book under compulsion. That's why her hand was trembling.
Right.
So is it, she's been under Gabriel's compulsion for at least
a month.
A month or
A month.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she's like getting 3 of that.
and strong
somehow.
compulsion under Gabriel. He's probably compelling her
Right.
more than anybody in some ways.
Yeah, because she's the power behind everything,
Yeah.
really, isn't she? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I reckon she went through the doorways at some point, and made a deal, and that is part of the deal. That's her connection.
I have to go back to episode 1. Y'all saw
Okay.
saw Alviarin in the fucking hall, not helping the Black Aja, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
Did see that. Yeah, being an ineffective defender, all that sort of crap.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
What? My views aren't great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
Oh, look,
Carry on, as
I'm
Matt
not
would say.
landing my W's very well here. Oh, I'm white though. I'm not the Battle Aja, so sure. But yeah, so I like this whole redstone doorway thing, and obviously we get to see. Speaking of redstone doorway, the Min vision with Matt just before the
Yes,
quarterstaff scene.
But then he didn't go through it at the White Tower.
I know. I really thought he was going to go through it at the White Tower. I did.
I don't think that's a problem. I think he.
So are we assuming it's in Tanchico then?
Maybe the other one's in Tanchico. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not Ruidian. And if it's not Ruidian,
then Matt
and
doesn't
he's
go
hanging
to Ruidian.
outside
Okay. We have
the
a
doorway.
So yeah, who would save him from being hung?
Min's got to redeem herself.
Well, also,
him.
Min needs to not just redeem herself, but Min needs to take advantage of what Elida said, because as much as I dislike Elida, the conversation of these are gifts, we need to learn how to use them. That Min then says to Matt, even though she then freaks out when she sees the vision a second later. But she says to Matt something like, maybe this isn't the end of the world, that we have these weird things with us, maybe we need to use it. And then he instantly goes and uses it to fight Galad and Gowan. And so Min coming to terms with how her ability is actually something she can do, she's going to put herself in the right place to be able to save him from I have it all figured out. She's going to know that he's going to come out of that and going to be hanging, and she's going to have to go save him because she has seen something and she can do something about it.
Because she's seen him hanging. She hasn't seen him being buried.
And we know
dead.
that her visions are flawed. I'm not flawed, but her interpretation isn't necessarily 100%, because she says you're going to kill Rand. And he doesn't die, and it doesn't happen exactly like she sees it. No. It's, so she's going to recognize that she is, oh my God, I'm so excited. It is going to be Min who cuts him down.
Maybe somehow she finds out that he's gone through the doorway, and she's like, what? And she runs over, because she's like, I got to get there and save him.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So then we have to thank Elida for Matt still being alive.
Yes, we do.
Your rolled eyes on that was great.
Anyway, I'm looking at your notes, Meg, and I think we should make I want to make a bet or a prediction. So obviously the cold open named or allowed us to finish out 7 of the 8 Forsaken we are expecting to see. So obviously we had Ishi, Lanthir, and then didn't we have like Megideon as a named Forsaken? And then the other 5 we didn't have in season 2. Am I right in thinking that?
We had Grendel and Megideon named.
So as of season 2, we had. Oh yeah,
we had Gredian.
Sammy?
They did say
Sam. There's one mention of Samael between. It's not in the same scene where she says in the first scene where she says Megideon and Grendel. No.
She's like Megideon.
Yes,
yeah.
She
Grendel's
says
a vain.
Megideon is a vain. No, she said Megideon is crazy. Grendel is a vain idiot, and the boys couldn't complete a plan. A plan.
So that's all we had in that scene. But then the next scene with her and Ishi, she says something about Samael. Like she mentioned Samael briefly. And so, he is.
So we had, what's that? So Ishi, Lanthir, Megideon, Grendel, Samael. So we didn't have Ravine. We didn't have Semirhage. And we obviously one more.
Yeah.
Which, based on the word boys, then would mean, likely now
and 4 and
we
4
do have Ravin and Semirhage 4 and 4
I think I agree.
Last one's going to be a guy. I feel like we need to put our money where our mouth is, and we need to either individually or collectively make a prediction on the last member of the Forsaken.
Okay, I'll tell you what I think, and I'll tell you what I want.
Okay.
And basically it's the same, sort of. Okay, I think it's Demon Dread. I know a lot of people are saying Asmodean. I know we have the Forsaken carrying the lyre, carrying the guitar thing. I know. And also, I have spent, as Megan knows, a stupid amount of time studying these things, as you both know, because I'm like obsessed with the fact that, and I have an update on it, Rob.
She's holding one of those sealed necklaces.
Yeah, it's the seal. I have a sealed necklace. I have an update on the seals. I don't know if it's time for it today or not, but
Which you were spiraling the other day.
Anyway. I think it's Demon Dread, and I think we aren't going. I think because they're spilling out all of the Forsaken to us today, right now, like at least by name, we know who they all are. I think we're not going to hear his name for a while, and I think we're not going to know where he is. And I'm still not convinced we're going to see Shara at the end. I'm not convinced, but I do think that by keeping him and his name a secret for a long time, it's going to be Rafe's version of Demon Dread's over in Shara doing something crazy. We don't know what he's doing, and he's going to come back at the end. What I want is for fucking Demon Dread to fucking be Mazrim Taim. Taim. I know it's Taim. Okay. I just want it because Jordan lied to us all. It was
He
Taim.
changed his mind. Yeah, when we figured it out, he changed it.
Yes.
Yeah, or not.
Yes.
Well, I say we
Mhm.
collectively as a fandom.
Yes.
Obviously, I was not around in the fandom at that stage.
I was.
I was too.
And I was convinced. And I'm still convinced that he was like, nuh-uh. He pulled a J.J. Abrams on us. Anyway, that's all.
There. So you think Demon
So-
Dread, and you hope for Demon Dread, basically.
Yes. I
All
think
right,
Demon
so
Dread, and I
Demon
hope for
Dread.
Demon.
I'm
I think Demon Dread.
You hope for
I don't
Demon
actually.
Dread. Is what you
Honestly,
hope
I've
for.
been all along. I've actually. Let me take this back for 1 second. All along, I've been like, fucking leave Demon Dread out of it because I hate him coming in at the end with Shara. I think it's weird and awkward, and we don't.
Yeah.
It's not paid off. So
No.
if Demon Dread is time, then I think that's what it'll be. There.
Okay.
So this is my theory. So, and I'm struggling. So I do feel like the end sword fighting battle with Demandred is being foreshadowed with Lan having his Valkyrie
Mhm.
blade, that they're saying that power wrought blades can kill Forsaken.
Okay.
However, I do wonder if they're merging Demandred and Samael to be that. Like, Samael will make it to the end. Samael will be the one behind Shara. His armor is, I don't know, I'm getting Shara vibes from what he's
Sure.
wearing in the Forsaken Tea
Sure.
Party, for sure. And I feel like Samael really ends up being kind of tossed away.
Here's the
Like,
toss
I feel
away,
like he
yeah.
really, he didn't really end up having that much impact anyway. So I feel like if you kind of, and him and Demandred have similar military goals or like skills, you know? So I feel like you could easily merge them. And then because we do see that Forsaken with the guitar, and they were kind of leading us along the path that Rand needs a teacher, it can't be Logain. We do need Asmodean. And I also feel like the fact that we haven't revealed who that is in this tea party, that we're gonna see some dude hanging around in the Isle Waste or something, and it's gonna be a surprise to everybody, including the readers. Like, they're maybe gonna be more, like, they're not gonna be like, oh, this is Jason Netial. Like, I think they're gonna make some person who's been hanging around be a surprise, and that be Asmodean.
Okay.
All right, Rob.
So you think it's Asmodean? Is that the end of that? Is what you're saying?
I do think it's going to be Asmodean, and
Okay.
I think they're merging Demandred and Samael.
All right.
Fair.
I very much like the merging of Demandred into Samael. If they do give us Demandred, he has to be Demandred. The shower thing does not work. I understand the seeds that were there, but they were poorly laid seeds that
Mhm.
did not bear fruit.
Mhm. Okay.
And you only see them because they're pointed out to you.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So my money's on Asmodean. My money's been on Asmodean since I saw the Tenchiko first look photos, because I was just like, we're all expecting to see him
It's
in
Julian
the West.
Sandar.
It's not the dude with the hat. So the first look photo where we've got Matt staring at the guy with the hat. Okay, and everyone's like, "Oh my
Julian
god, that's the
Sandor.
hat he gets." And you've got, so next to him is Nynaeve, and the guy's offering something in the hands, whatever, and then Min's just slightly off to one side. I think that guy is Asmodean. I just think we're just not going to find out. I think it's going to be hidden for most of the season, and it's not going to be in the Waste. You know, he doesn't get a teacher this season or something. I don't know. My money is on Asmodean, and I think it's the guy in the hat. I've been saying that since I saw it, but
Which, Jen, can we say you're wrong about
Jacques Renault.
your comment that you said?
Yeah, last
Yep.
week I said when I saw the cast list and I saw that Jacques Renault was on the cast list, I knew that name was the torturer. Aramilla's torture. Aramilla hires him as a torturer. Jacques Renault in in the siege of Camelin. So I was like, I did not remember that he was actually Terraboner, which he is. I looked it up, and so but I saw his name in it, and then I saw Bride of Renault, and then I saw another Renault name, which means we're going to get to see Leandrin's husband. We're going to see the great grandfather, which is I don't want to
yeah.
see that.
no, I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that. I don't. I trust Rafe. I
Well,
don't
would
think
we though? Because her son was very old. I don't think her husband would still
No,
be
no,
alive.
we're going to see a flashback.
Oh, flashback.
gotcha.
Oh,
Which
right,
I,
okay, yeah.
yeah, sorry,
which I
yes.
trust Rafe
Which
to
we
not
kind
be.
of already did see a little
We did.
bit, right?
We saw a moment of her holding the baby. As she's when
Which
she's
and
when she's
then
painting.
in the first look, and then in the Tenchiko first look
We
photos,
think it's her.
we see more of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I think,
missed this
I think
somehow,
those
then?
two people are the same.
What was that?
I've missed something here then.
In the Tenchiko
So
first?
in 303, well, okay, so in 303, she has sort of these flashes. I think it's as she's drawing the symbol in Tenchiko. Is that
Yes.
right?
Oh, I've not paid enough
Yes, and
attention
we
to that
see this
moment
like
then.
younger woman with blonde hair holding a child. And then
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
I
remember if
saw
it was
that. I
Nerdist.
just didn't really think
Yeah,
anything
and
of
then
it.
it was like and then Nerdist or Collider, I don't remember who, like about 3 weeks ago or whatever, was talking about First Look in Tenchiko. And it was the photo of the woman with blonde hair, bloodied shift, holding a baby, standing in front of the statue that looks like they're of a man wearing an Adam.
Right. So you think that first look is a flashback?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. A
Oh.
flashback to
Yeah.
Tenchiko and that it's Leandrin. And it also gives her like, we're going to call her the Dragon Reborn with that bracelet.
Mhm.
Like, again, her reason for not trusting men.
Which, thank you, that was my theory, that the two
Yeah.
pieces were broken
Yeah.
up and we were
Yes,
planning
you
on
did say
Yes,
that
you did.
actually.
Yes,
you
Yes.
did.
Congratulations.
Mhm.
You did. I
Yes.
love it.
Thank you.
And also the whole this thing that like the detective agency, the Nynaeve and Elayne detective agency are figuring out of like Falm is near Tenchiko. Tenchiko is where the Shanshan left to go across the sea. Like where Archer Hawkwing's armies
that
left.
was interesting.
The whole
Yeah.
interviewing Joya and Amiko thing, I was like, it didn't work for me. I was like,
Oh, really?
what are these two achieving that Full Sisters are not achieving?
Yes. Agreed.
You
And they
know?
didn't get anything. They were like,
And they got nothing.
for them to say it's what they're not saying, and then like that's when they're like, oh, let's go look for the objects of power, and that's like some relevance. Like it's not anything that they're saying. I think is great, because I always thought it was like, I think it makes sense that they're just like they're like literally just lying about everything. So what did they
Yeah,
not say? That was cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, that made sense to me.
Yeah.
But I was like, what experience, where, gathered, when, who? They're fucking like 20 years old, these girls. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Like, they've been through some stuff in the last year or so, but where did they gain, interrogation
Although-
skills that Aes Sedai don't have?
I feel like it was, I can't think of how this is going to pay off, but it was leading some seeds to where Joya was looking at Nynaeve and saying, I know the face of a killer and you're a killer. Like, I believe you, or something like that. Like, and maybe that was just like laying seeds to try to turn more of them to the shadow or whatever. I don't know.
It doesn't seem to
but
work.
I agree. I mean, I think I also think they are like, we have something you don't have. We can lie. And then they literally were like
Mhm.
lying by saying we're going to kill you, which any Aes Sedai who's trained, including Joya and Amiko, would be like, I know that you're trying to use the tactic of the fact that you can lie. It's not working. I don't believe you. You're lying. Like it
But even if so, their dark friends, the Aes Sedai, can kill them.
right,
Right.
right, yeah,
And
torture
in fact,
them.
and honestly, there's actually nothing in the 3Os that stops them just taking a dagger and slicing their throats.
Well, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
know?
exactly. It's
Yeah.
I agree. And then they didn't get anything from it. Look, okay. So that is another section that I felt was a little bit dicey. I loved the swap of Varen and Sheriam and the Gray Man, and like the
Yeah.
literal same exact moment of Varen being
Mhm.
like, "What?" and then not asking about how he was killed. Well,
Yeah.
he's got a dagger in him. I first of all, I never really thought that was like such a big red flag for Sheriam when they're like, did you see she didn't ask about how he
Mhm.
died? I'm like, she's shocked
Was-
into the moment of thinking that there's a dead gray man in the middle of the White Tower.
Yeah.
That's shocking enough. But when Varen is like, when Nynaeve is like, why are you up here? She's like, it's the Brownage quarters. I could ask the same of you. I'm like, you literally just fucking told them to go hunt the Blocage 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
it just didn't. None of that rang true.
I mean, she did leave them interrogating Joya and Amiko.
Yeah, she left them interrogating,
which was
not
not
in the-
necessarily
not in the
Renasher quarters. Yeah.
Yes, I mean you could get behind it, but it just felt like everybody throwing suspicion around. It was like it was just such. To me, it was too much of a nod to the book. It was like Swan already said, "Don't trust Varen." Then she said, "I'm going to have Varen help you," but she already said, "Don't trust anybody." And
Don't trust anyone.
so,
yeah.
like, they're like, "I could ask you." I'm like, y'all are on the same team right now. Don't ask us around each other until you leave. If you leave and say, why didn't she ask about that? Then I'm going to be curious about it. But to be right on the heels of them, like, throwing accusations at each other just felt like, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't love
Yeah.
it. I didn't love it. I mean, I
Yeah,
loved it.
it's
Actually, I did love it. I loved it. I just didn't love it as much as I love everything else. Let me put it that way.
yeah. Yeah, like I was listening, I was like, I don't see what those girls are going to achieve. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like I dislike the
Yeah.
scene. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, they've been sent hounding, they're gonna question. But I was like, as someone just watching the show, I was like, what are they getting from interrogating these full sisters who are tens, if not hundreds of years old?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, like these women have lived 3, 4, 5,
And been
7 or 8, 9 times the
concealing.
same. Yeah,
You
like
know, they're master
investigate all their
concealers.
shit. Yeah, investigate. Yeah, exactly. They're
Yeah.
black Asia. They've been hiding for
Mm-hmm.
decades, decades and decades and decades. I didn't see the benefit of having them do the interviews, the interrogations. But like the going through the stuff and being like, this is what we're not being. Like these are all the things they took or didn't take or left or whatever it might be. Like, and then figuring something out from that. That made a lot of sense. I was just like, Elayne likes to tinker with things.
Mm-hmm.
Nynaeve, is a big picture kind of person anyway. Like, these things made sense to me, but the actual, like, I'm going to interrogate the Aes Sedai or the Black Aja, I was like, don't see that working. It's a bit of a waste of time.
Are we thinking we're gonna see Slayer murder them at
Huh?
some point?
Slit.
Slayer murders them in the books. Do we
we
think
know
we'll
it's
see
Slayer?
that? Yeah,
Rob, did you know it was Slayer?
No.
in
How
the
do we know
books.
it's Slayer?
What?
I'm pretty sure
Amiko
at
and
some
Joya.
point we have a flashback when he's in the town that he was the one that murdered Amiko and Joya in the stone.
Oh, there might have been that reveal while he was in the town.
Oh. Oh, also now I know why they're doing interrogation, because they interrogate in the stone.
In the books. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
here they're told to go interrogate. They're
Yeah,
the
and there's
choose to,
no
'cause
and there
nowhere
are no
else.
Aes Sedai. Actually, Moraine is there, and they do say to
Mhm.
Moraine, they say we can
Why
do
don't
that.
why
What
don't
you
you
can't
help
do,
us?
or why don't you
Yeah.
help us? But also, we can be effective in a way that you maybe aren't.
Yeah.
I agree. I think eh.
It didn't work. I don't know why it didn't work. Maybe, I mean, it's something that I kind of ignore on the page, really. As
Here's
well,
what
to be
I
honest,
loved
'cause I'm
about
like,
it. I loved getting another couple minutes with Zenobia. Any fan who gets cast in the show.
And her little like turn, like she's all like
Yeah.
upset and whatever, and then they're like, stop the act or
Uh-huh.
whatever,
Cut the
and then
cat,
she
yeah.
totally
Yeah.
like drops
Yeah,
it.
it was
really
great.
kind of
It
creepy.
was great. I was really
Yeah.
happy to get
like, to be clear, I did like the whole scene. As I'm not saying it being like it was shit. I'm just like the interviewing part. I don't know, it just didn't land for me, I suppose. But I did like the whole thing.
Part of
Right.
why I felt like it didn't land was that in the books they're like one of them is probably lying. Like one of them is saying something
Mhm.
and the other one is saying Tenchiko, and then they figure it out. Like they just don't get anything from either of them here. The payoff
Which I think also, though, to be honest, like it rules out some things. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like based on what they're saying, you can rule out.
Tyr.
I don't remember what the two of them said. Tyr was one, and then the
Yeah.
other one was.
The other one
something
was
else. But
Farm? No, not Farm.
No.
was
Tyr
it? I
and
know. Falm was.
Oh,
coming.
Saldea.
Tyr and
Saldea.
Probably.
Saldea.
Mazrim
Yes,
Taine.
to get
Oh
Mazrim
yeah,
Taine.
for
Yes.
Mazrim Taine. Yeah.
There we go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how little we cared about what they were
I
saying.
have it
'cause we were like,
literally right here. Oh, and they did drop some interesting exposition about the heart. So hearts are
that's
groups
true.
of 3.
Yeah.
Each sister only knows the identity of one sister outside of her
Mhm.
heart. Leandrin knew more,
But that
which makes me wonder if Leandrin is part of the High Council. But,
possibly. But this also made
or
me
the
think
Supreme
about
Council, whatever it's called. Yeah.
Supreme, I think you're right there. Made me think about the shredding,
Yeah.
where like Leandrin's like, join me, because clearly she didn't
Well,
expect.
and I feel like
Nynaeve to
that was
walk in.
almost like a roll of the dice for her. Like,
Yeah.
she maybe didn't know who was all there, but she was like, hey,
she-
anybody who's black.
She knew, and she'd had a
Yeah.
conversation with those specific women because they all look at each other as it's getting ready to go, and those women all specifically knew each other. So there were 5
Yeah.
there, which to me says, maybe 3 of them were originally a heart.
5 including
Yeah, but
Leandrin,
like
right?
she had pulled the
Yeah.
5 of them aside and had a conversation prior to that, for sure.
Mhm.
And Naomi and the others from outside who come in,
Yeah.
like Jane or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like there had been some plans in place, but
But
it's still
yeah.
she didn't expect Nynaeve to walk in, so that must have been like, if I get accused of being Black Aja and it's irreparable,
Yeah.
Then I don't know.
Yeah.
It was an interesting thought back to that whole process, like plans.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So yeah. Anyway, still lots from this third episode to talk about. We have not spoken at all about. In fact, we're barely into the episode. Actually, how we know we've done this?
I know.
Oh my god!
Maybe this will break our record for longest episode.
Maybe, I don't know.
What did you want to bring up, Rob? Because I'm ready. I'm ready.
Go bring something up. I'm just looking through. Honestly, looking through Meg's
She
notes.
will be a Mies to me until the end of time. We
Absolutely.
have not heard
I
her
know.
name. I'm not going to listen when they say her name. Her name is Amis. She
I
is
keep saying Amis.
So because she is Ruark's wife too.
Yeah, Burmese is what I say.
Wait, is it
At best?
Bear Mies.
Bear Mies?
Mies.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. I mean,
I can live with that. You know.
I love that they made her Ruark's wife. I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate that she doesn't have a relationship with Ruark. I'm really gonna be sad about that because I want this character to be that thing. So I don't think fucking call her Rock. I don't care. She's a Mies. She's a Mies.
Yeah.
She's a Mies.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
she's
she really is so
literally my
fun.
headcanon for a Mies. Like she's so perfect and
She looks
she's
so
so
perfect.
amazing
Yeah.
and she's a Mies and she calls him shade
And
of
I
my
also
heart.
love
Mhm.
that. And then when she talks to Egwene and she's like so lovingly like touches her on the shoulder and is like,
know.
I will teach you
How to protect yourself.
to protect yourself.
Yeah.
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 Ugh,
I know.
God.
I know.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Mm.
It's beautiful, and she's a Mies, and it's fine. Whatever, call her whatever the fuck you
Mhm.
want. I don't care. Bear's easier to say. Maybe they were just like it rolls off the tongue easier. It works better. I don't know.
Mhm.
Whatever. Fine.
Well, I mean, we know what it was.
Yeah, but it just. Thank God they made her Ruark's wife. Is all I can say. Like I wanted her to be Ruark's
Right.
wife
I
because I
think,
want to
like,
see Leon,
yeah.
and we know we're gonna get Leon when we get to Cold Rock's Hold, and
Yeah.
so the fact
Yeah.
that he has two wives, I thank God they just set it up. Thank God.
Yeah, I think just like what really happened was they cast
Mhm.
Bear. Then they realized they weren't going to have Amis. So they just kept the name Bear
And wrote all the stuff in.
and gave her all of Amis's qualities.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like,
I'm
that's
sure
really
it's
what
been
it
said in
is.
an interview
Yeah.
somewhere that like they did intend to get an Amis later on, but it didn't work out,
Yeah,
and so
but now they
they've,
can't.
Like they've merged the stories, and now they can't obviously.
Yeah.
So
Which honestly, though, too, like going to like a spoiler again, you know, when Bear says that she's the one that's going to go back through the way back to Rangriel to see if she sees the same thing Avienda sees, you know, I kind of like
Right.
that that's almost given to, quote, Amis, you know, because she's,
Mhm.
I don't know. Anyway.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it fits.
True. I love
Mhm.
that.
Shall we get hot for a moment?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the entire sweat tent scene was brilliant.
Oh my God.
Firstly, and
Ah.
it just happens so quickly when Lan is there struggling with how hot it is, and Moraine looks
Mhm.
at him, and they're like, "We're making it hotter." I was just like, "Could be warmer."
Yeah.
Could be warmer. And also they were both like, fuck you.
Yeah, it's like,
Fuck. They were just like, it's
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
hot. How do
Yeah.
these people
Uh-huh.
do
It was
this?
so good to see, like,
Yeah.
to see Lan suffering over something silly as it being too hot. I'm just like, my dude, there's all you wanted in
So
the first episode. So yeah,
Yep.
Right?
it feels
Right?
feels like a personal
so
joke
good.
between the two of them, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah,
Yeah.
the whole
It's so good.
Elayne just being like, "This is my happy face as I stare daggers at you the entire time, no matter what I'm saying," was
She's amazing. I love
Yeah.
her. I love her. I love her just like staring as she just
yeah,
pours the water
absolutely.
over the rocks.
You know, I was like, she's someone who it just looks. I look at her and be like, "Yeah, okay, that's a challenge. Like, I want to go drinking with you and try and crack a smile out of you, or something." Like there is that's a challenge of a facade I want to break in a good way.
Yeah.
And I think she would be absolutely hilarious to hang out with, as long, you know, even though she's being angry the whole time. It was killing me. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
So
It's
So
very
good.
deadpan.
It's so good.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's very Melaine in book 4. Like, you know, we know Melaine. I like my Melaine is later
Mhm.
Melaine when she's pregnant, when she's softer, all of those things. This, like, I having just reread book 4, I'm like, oh, Melaine is
Yeah.
such a bitch in this book. She really is. It's great. She's just hard
Yeah,
as nails.
is.
It's
It
awesome.
really lands so well. And then we get our Melindra, or
And it's a really fun. It's just fun. The
Oh, yeah,
Lan and
like, you
Moraine.
know.
Like,
Is she looking at you? Is she looking at me? Is she
Yeah.
looking
you
at
can
you?
have fun.
She's
Yeah.
looking at
You
me.
know, an hour won't hurt you.
And
Yeah.
Maureen wants her.
Mhm.
I mean, have you looked?
Well, because
Who
I
doesn't?
remember back in the teaser or the trailer or whatever, I was like, is she looking at Bear like that? Like, she's definitely looking like with interest,
Amis.
but she was looking at
Amis.
Melindra with
Yeah.
interest.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just the Lan is such a great wingman. He's like, you're allowed to be happy, you know, even for an hour. I don't think it would hurt, you know. He's just like, go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I honestly just like, first of all, I want to punch her in the face though, because I like, she can't step on my Nynaeve situation with Lan at all. And so I'm ready to punch her in the face. I'm really mad about that.
So we don't want
But
Mel and Lan
I
hooking
also,
up then, is what we're hearing. So
no,
Oh,
we really
Jen
do
will
not.
lose her shit.
Well, and here's the thing,
Yes.
like me, I am so loving I'm loving the very open relationship world that we're building in Wheel of Time. I really love it. I love that like sex is not precious, that we aren't like prudish people. Like I'm just like I love all of that. I love it so much. I'm so in love with polyamory being like accepted and big and everywhere. Don't step on my monogamous Lan and Nynaeve. It's the one place
don't
that I'm
think
like super
they will.
traditional, and
I
I'm
don't
like,
think they will.
no. I'm like they're
Especially
each
after
other's
the
soulmates.
ring.
They're
The
one.
ring
They're
situation
one.
sets
Yes.
that up.
Yeah.
I know.
I think he's genuinely just
Yeah,
like,
but
who the fuck is this person with the golden crane on their back?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
for sure.
100%. But she's not. And he says, you're the only person I'd want to be my queen at the
Mhm.
beginning. I just, in rewatching that, and I was like, I feel like they're definitely setting us up to question whether or not he's going to go for this Malchieri woman. They're going to give us pause. You know, it's not going to pay off.
No.
I
No,
think
he's
certainly
not.
not
No.
going to do
It's
anything
in
about it. But
the
they're going to give us a
land trap,
question.
you know. It's like,
Yeah.
Lan only has two
Yeah.
in his life, Moraine and Nynaeve. That's it, you know. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he definitely does not have room for a third woman. But also Nynaeve, you know, ogling Galad was
Yes.
nice. Which is true from the books as well. There are moments when she's like, light, he's so beautiful. Like when he saves them from the circus. You know, like it is nice to see her a little like, yeah, I can stare at eye candy. My eyes aren't married to
Right.
you.
Yeah,
Like,
window,
you know, whatever.
win- the-
It's just
you know,
it's sweet.
window shopping is not the end of the world. It's when window shopping leads to a purchase.
Exactly.
That's when it's a problem.
Right.
You know?
Right. As long as the other person assumes that is
Yes.
not going
Right.
to happen. Yes. Is your partner is
Yeah.
not okay.
But yeah.
Do we want to talk about the Shido at all that they'd mentioned?
I
with
think
the Tuatha
the
Ends?
Shadow are just being set up real like as baddies, aren't they? Which
Well,
I'm not against.
and again, so maybe this leads us more to the Asmodean camp. That Asmodean is
No, he's in Tanchico.
behind all the nope.
He's in
Because who's
Tanchico.
putting the dragons on Couladin?
Someone else? Lanfear, for fuck's sake.
Who's someone
Does-
else?
Doesn't
Grendel?
Lan? Does
Grendel as
Yeah.
Savannah. Did you guys hear
Grendel
this
as
theory?
Savannah?
Oh.
Did you hear
Oh,
this
I
theory?
like this.
Somebody brought this up. Shit, I can't remember who, and I'm so sorry for not saying it. I
Oh, I'm
I
in
was
for this
on with
completely.
I was on with Annis on Dusty Wheel, and somebody said, wouldn't it be fun to have one of the Forsaken end up being someone in plain sight, you know?
Mhm.
And I'm sorry I didn't think of this, Meg, when you were talking about Asmodean, but like someone in plain sight to us, and someone said, I'd love to see them merge one of the Forsaken with a character that we all know really
Mhm.
well. What about merging Grendel and Savannah?
Well, and it's
And it is
it's
really
Grendel
delicious.
and Samael who's fucking around with the Shido most of the time later, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is with the stasis boxes and everything in the, or not the stasis boxes, the call
Nabala,
boxes.
yeah.
And it's
The
and it's,
Narbaha.
and
Yeah.
Nabaha? I always call them
Yeah.
the Balas, you
So-
know, because it's just easier.
and Savannah being the one wise one who can't channel, but like also having all of this power and control over Galena later. Like I don't
And
hate
also,
this theory.
Grendel is all about, you know, um,
Showing
like,
off your boobs.
pleasures of the flesh,
Mhm.
you know, be those
Mhm.
visual
Well,
or
and
physical.
Sharon had
Mhm.
said something at some point. Fuck, what was it? Damn it! And I posted on it, and
Well, Savannah, going
so
off from
she had actually put the kibosh on a couple of people's theories, and she didn't put the kibosh on mine. But she said something about like an extravagant costume for an Aiel, and I went big eyeball emoji Savannah, and she didn't say anything. She didn't put the kibosh on it, so
Nice. I mean, it
Mhm.
fits. Savannah loves the, you know, the open blouse, the bracelets, the necklaces, the gaudy look at
Yeah.
me, look at me, look at me. So yeah, it fits.
mhm.
And Savannah's one note. She's so one note in that
Yeah.
sense. Like she's just like power hungry, rich hungry. Like it, you know, I'm going to get myself an Aes Sedai since I can't channel. You know, just she's pretty one note, and I think that this would develop that in a really
Yes.
fun way. So it's not my theory. I can't take credit for it, and I apologize if you watch the very end of the live stream on To Dusty Wheel of the 24-hour.
Well,
It's somewhere in there
It's a
in
long,
the last hour.
It's a long
Hour and a
time.
half.
There's a lot of things said. You know, it's fair.
Yes.
I like the going back to the Mel thing for a minute. I like the Malkiri connection. I like how it was done. I might have to get that tattoo. Just saying. Not
Yep.
on my back though.
It is very cool. Yeah.
So
Just a lower back one.
lower back one.
Yes. Yes, get the lower back tattoo. The tramp stamp.
It's pretty
Look,
big for the
look,
lower
I
for
prefer
a tramp
the,
stamp.
you know,
It is the tramp stamp.
It is
She's
the
a
tramp
tramp.
stamp.
It's a fucking tramp stamp, and she's a tramp, and I think I'm gonna punch her in the face. Fucking step off
I'm
my
sorry.
I
Valkyrie
love it
king.
how
sorry.
you're all pissed about Melindra. I'm all pissed about Lanfear fucking with Egwene.
Who
and it's,
wasn't
like,
drooling
setting us
over
up.
Lan in that moment?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, she can drool over him, but she's like, as long as one man wears the Hadori and as long as one woman wears the Kasan,
Do you think that
blah,
was
blah, blah,
flirting?
blah. And I'm like, you don't get
Do
one.
you think that was flirting or
What?
something?
Yes.
Yes. She's like, I'm the only Malkyrie woman left to be your
She
queen.
did not say that.
I'm literally
She implied
no, but
it.
she wants to be a queen. She wants to be a queen, and it backs
How,
up my
she
story
doesn't
that
know
she's not
he's
just
with
some
Nynaeve.
rando.
She
And
doesn't.
And
No.
how does she know?
That's fine.
She doesn't know.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
No. I don't think she knows.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, she's perfectly within her rights to go after this gorgeous man. That's fine. But she's not going after him because he's fucking gorgeous. She's going after him because she knows he's the king of Malkyr. She wants to be the queen of Malkyr. It fits in with the Isam storyline.
I didn't
It
get
does.
ambition from what she was doing. I didn't get ambition.
Ambition, 100%. Megan, did you not get ambition?
No, I did for sure.
Megan?
I'm asking, do we
Yeah.
think she's a dark friend? Is my question.
Yes, she's a dark friend, and she's maybe Ism in some way. She is the representation to me of the other Malkyrie royal line who didn't get where they're going, and she's not going to be in the line for king because Malkyrie has kings.
Okay, so when you
They
say
can
you
have
think
queens.
she's mixed with Ism,
Yes.
do you think she's
Maybe.
also part of Slayer or just Ism?
I think she's the royal family who left. I think she's a royal. She's not just a young random Malkyrie girl who wandered into the Aiel Waste.
She's the
is
family that caused all the
probably
drama and fucked it up.
And it's in Origins. I mean, in Origins they put it out there, like they did show that the uncle wanted the throne or
Mhm.
whatever. So the whole thing about Ism being the cousin, nephew, brother,
Cousin.
whatever he is, of Lan's, who was potentially in line for the throne as well if Lan had died. I like this that she is that, and she's like, I'll get it by being queen if I marry you, and if you're not going to marry me, then I'll get it by fucking killing you.
So what was
And
her
I
motivations for becoming a dark friend then?
What was the
No.
original Melindra's motivations for
she
becoming a
just
dark
ended-
friend?
I don't know. I'm just
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
just
she could have
curious,
even wandered. Like, she could have gotten dropped into the. I mean, what were Ism's reasons?
Yeah, maybe,
like, Ism
maybe
got
that
dropped
whole
in the town.
family were just dark friends, just full stop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can buy her being a dark friend, and I think I don't trust her at all. It's not just that she's coming after Nynaeve's man.
That's
I don't
why
trust her.
you don't trust
I don't
her.
trust
let's be
her, and I
honest.
think yeah, and I got ambition. That is a big part of it. But she's literally like, as long as one woman wears the Kasain, and she looks at him like,
Well,
put it on my forehead.
I
baby.
am clearly an oblivious man in this moment. I did not pick up the ulterior motive.
Oh
in
no,
what she was
I
saying,
definitely
so,
picked up on that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
she's
is-
ambitious.
It's a good
She's
thing
a
I don't
gold
date.
digger.
Clearly. Or
take Megan
All
and I
right,
with
yeah, I
you
gotta
on your
take you
dates.
guys
Yes, we
with me.
will be
Yeah.
your
To
wingman.
vet.
Yes,
You know.
oh my god, I would love
Or
that.
it's
Oh my
also a
God.
good
Yes.
good job I'm not, heir to a country and a kingdom. So, yeah. Even if it is a blighted one. All right, moving on then. What else do we want to talk about? We got Senbui, which I loved. So
Yes.
Yes. Wait, and love Daisy
cute. Oh,
Converse.
also
Oh,
brilliant.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
Like,
So
I've
good.
seen him perform in a couple of
I'll
plays
tell you what.
for the Prague Shakespeare Company. Because
Oh,
he has actually done that, and it was so cool when it got announced. I was like, I know that. I don't know him, but I'm like, I know that. I've seen him.
That's awesome.
It was very
Yes.
cool. I was like, I recognize that name. So yeah,
That's so great.
that was really cute to see that.
Yeah.
What have we?
Dane drinking wine.
Dane, alcoholic Dane.
Oh,
yeah.
did I
At the
miss
very
that?
beginning, he's like pouring a cup. At the very.
Yeah,
thing.
he was just
Oh, shit, I
there
totally
was like
missed
a
it.
cask of wine. Yep.
Is it while he's
Valda.
talking to
Valda.
Is it while he's
Yeah.
talking to?
Who
Yeah, see, I was just
got
so
a haircut.
obsessively
Valda
like
always
hating
have
on Valda.
half black, half
no,
white hair?
he
No.
no.
And I asked David, and do we know if it's gray hair or do we know if it's
I
paint?
mean, I don't know. It's a choice. Whoever did it.
Oh.
Is it?
Did Valda have that in the books?
No.
And
No.
his white
No.
streak in season 2 or season 1, whenever we last saw him, was. Who seen him in season 2? I feel like we did, didn't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, we did.
right.
just at the
it's
end of it.
nowhere near that extensive. So,
Right. I was just
Oh, so
Is he
what's
going
causing that?
grey?
Is it his weird terangrial that Megan thinks he's still wearing that keeps him from that makes weaves
Oh.
fall off of him?
How many people are going through the red doorway and getting like treasures off the eel thing? Like, seriously?
Right? Right?
Was there like a bring and buy sale one day? Like, bring
Seriously.
your soul and get something as a gift if you just, you know, like,
It's just like a freeway. Yeah. Yeah. It's Kmart. I hate him
Kmart's
so
red
much.
as
Oh, it
well,
was-
you know, so.
Exactly. It was really fun when Valda came on screen. David and Zach were on either side of me. We were on the couch watching it. David's on my right, Zach's on my left, and they both went, "Oh!" It was so great. It was so great. They were both
wish
like,
you would have
"No, not
recorded
him."
their reactions. I would have liked
Yeah.
that.
I know. No, they do not. That Zach is not going to let that happen.
That's fair.
Yeah, it was really fun though. It
Yeah.
was really fun.
But yeah,
I'm just like, obviously.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Sorry, go.
Oh no, or maybe it's something to do with like, I mean, maybe this weird bullshit of like the wolves scaring the shit out of him and like aging him. Like, I don't know.
I
but,
mean,
like,
it could be just, gray hair, you know,
Yeah.
that could be a thing. So it's pretty set right down the middle, though,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's like, well, that's why I was like, is it war paint? Is it his version of war paint?
I mean,
like, what is
yeah,
that about?
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
you could, people do the Doctor Strange, get the wings of grey, that's a thing, but half and half dead center is that seems a little less likely.
Yeah.
So,
It's definitely a choice.
Yeah.
There's a reason
There's
for it.
gotta
I
be,
trust
yeah.
Sharon. I trust
Yeah.
the design team.
Yeah.
There's a reason for
yeah,
it. So
it's,
can't wait to find out what it is.
we will find out. What do we think?
Oh, is he turning into a gray man?
Oh, yeah,
No.
maybe
No,
he's not.
no.
He's not.
But
we got JT.
what do we think of Fail? We did have that.
Oh, I
cheeky for that.
do. I am
Fucking
enjoying her.
love
very
her.
much. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's so.
And I
good,
love
right?
that they kept the Mandarb thing in. I don't know why.
Oh
that made
my
me so
Fan
happy,
service.
but it did.
Fan service.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So-
Fan service 100%. Because
Yeah.
it's like Land's not even there. He can't like point to the horse and be like,
Right.
that's what it calls the
Yeah,
horse.
and I don't
But it's
think
really
we've really
so
had
funny.
Mandarb like introduced as a name for a horse anyway. So it's literally.
I don't think so
I
either.
feel like it's new information. You know.
Yeah. New
Uh,
information and 100% fan
Yeah.
service.
Yes, 100%
But
fan
I
service.
loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing for me that I loved most about that is, he laughs and is about to tell her why he thinks it's funny, and she's just like, "It means blade in the old tongue, so be careful what you say," you know. And he's just like, "I'ma say it anyway, girl. I don't care," you know. And says it, like he
Yes.
feels secure enough to
Yes.
have that
Yeah.
banter with her, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I know they did
Yeah.
chemistry reads for the
Mhm.
part of
Oh, for sure. But
Fael.
there's definite chemistry there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's chemistry, but it's also and it's also like it is fan service, but it also in two lines gives us their dynamic.
Yes.
Like as a showrunner writer, you'd be like, okay, we really don't need this line. It's just for the fans, and it's not getting us anything. But it is. It gets us this. It's just this little dynamic. It gets us their dynamic right off the bat,
Yeah.
and shows us her feisty. She is. It's so weird. Like I said, I don't usually have visual headcanon for people. She's 100% my visual headcanon. Fael in the book doesn't have short hair, I don't think,
No.
but she did for me. She does for me. She has that haircut, those eyes, that big nose. She even, she's perfect. And then she's perfect on top of it. The actress is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, Isabella's
She's great.
absolutely slayed it. I
Yeah. She was the high point of 3 for me.
yeah, I didn't visualize short hair. I don't think I visualized an accent or audialized an accent. I don't know what the word would be for that. I'm making words up.
Yeah.
It's kind of Slavic sounding almost.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fucking brilliant. It was so good because she does feel dangerous. She does feel mysterious, but she also feels like she's looked at Perrin and gone, "I like what I see."
Mm-hmm.
And then
And
she
I see
studied
you.
him and paid it.
Yeah.
And has paid attention to him, and it's just like, I see that there's more than just this big lumbering gentle giant type thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very complex individual underneath, and I was like, this is I'm
And there's
super
little
excited to see
tiny drops about, she talks about leadership and whatever. So I feel like, for those of us that know her lineage and like her past and her family, like we see what that's leading to,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we also need to talk about Sakarnin, the Sakarnin drop mention.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, is that a word from the books? It felt like it should be, but I don't think it is.
It is.
I don't
No,
think so. It is?
So Sakarnin is the Sa'angreal that Demandred has that he goes to Shara to get, and it comes in the
Right.
2 pieces. So like there's like the rod and the ball on top, I think. Damn it! Now I need to Google this. Hang on.
I don't have my. I don't
Well,
have my.
that's
book.
because
It's
neither
not
of
gonna be in the
you
whiteboard.
have read River of Souls, which is your
Oh
problem.
yeah, still never read that. Yeah.
Because he has to fight the Jumara, which is the grown-up worm, which looks like a dragon, and he's hiding the other half of the Sakarnan. So Sakarnan,
Wow.
River.
I've got it right
Thanks
here,
for the
and I've got it in the
spoilers.
wiki.
Okay.
He claimed to have bonded Sakarnan to himself, and that channeling the one power through it against himself would cause it to burn the channeler from the pattern. It's not as powerful as the Code and Call. It's more powerful than Kalendor. But of course, she said it was female, didn't she?
Yeah.
Well, she
It's
said
the female
something
equivalent.
She said it's
about
for
it
women.
being like both like able to channel both of them together or something. I think.
Did
was
she
what
say that?
said.
I don't know.
No, she said we can channel together.
Yeah.
She said it's a sangreal made for women the same way Kalendor is for men, and we can use them together
Yeah.
to kill the creator.
No,
The
to
dark
kill
one.
the dark one. She said.
But fine, that's what I meant.
I mean, you could. This is an obscure piece of lore that never made it into the regular books. So you absolutely could
But
just
he
like
does
use the
talk.
name
No, I
and
mean
make
it
a
did
female.
because he uses it
It's in the
Memory
it is
of
in the
Life.
books. He's got a
Right,
scepter.
yes.
He's got a scepter, and they're like, and that's what Andral goes
Yeah.
after.
No, that's what Logain goes after.
All right.
Yeah, but Logain and he sends Andral as he sends them as a decoy. He says we got to get that scepter away from
Mhm.
him, and then
Yeah.
Logain wants it and wants to keep it.
But it's never really fully explained what it is or how it works.
No, and they never call it a Sakarnan,
Yeah.
do they? In the books,
They
Mm,
call it that.
that word was new to me.
That-
That word was new to
That
me.
felt like a word I knew, but didn't feel like a word from Wheel of Time, if that makes sense. So that's why I was like, I feel like it should be, but I don't think it is. And if it's from River of Souls,
And it being separated into two parts and both were hidden
Mhm.
is like straight up what they're now putting on the bracelets.
yeah.
It's really fun.
And it is how
It's
the
a
Chosen
really
Coal
fun-
work with the access keys,
mhm.
Yeah.
you know?
Although, do we know for sure that you have to use the access key to get to it?
No,
Because doesn't
'cause
Rand
that-
channel into
No,
They're
it?
no,
just
he
giant
does.
statues.
It
Yeah.
just makes it so that you don't have to carry around this giant
These
statue.
standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the statue is
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
like the size of a building? You
Yeah.
know, you don't want to carry that around. You can just use the key instead.
Right.
Yeah.
I would also
Right.
leave that accessible to anyone else who touches it. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
this
is
now
putting
makes
all
me
of
think
that
the
a little
Chosen Ball
together.
thing, the whole like Pokemon Go moment with Moraine or whatever, like whatever you want to call it.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that's the Sakarnan that she finds,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and this is her like trying to fight, trying to stop Landfill.
Well,
I don't
and
know.
maybe similar to how the Sakarnan comes in two pieces, maybe there's a way that you can combine the Sakarnan and Kalandor to channel together or something. And then that like takes away the flaw of Kalandor if you put it
If
together.
Kalendor ends up being flawed,
Yeah, I don't know.
which we don't know if
Yeah.
it's going to really
Mhm.
be flawed in the
Yeah.
book, in the show. But so we read the prophecies, like Loyal read us the prophecies, which are straight up
Mhm.
our prophecies, which is, well, I mean, it's supposedly loose there and put it in the stone, but then only the dragon can take it out when the people of the dragon come to the stone.
And Egwene mentioned something too about how the only person that can break those wards is the dragon.
Yeah, but there's nothing specific about it. Is it specific to male? What is not? Now I want to go back and watch and hear what Lanfear says about the Sakarnan, because she implies that Kalendor is male centric.
Calendar is male centric.
I got to go watch it. Yeah, I mean it is in the books, but there's if we didn't know that the dragon was a boy or a girl,
Oh,
Right.
touche.
You know.
Oh, yeah, they've flipped that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I hadn't.
so now I'm like, is it always that Kalendor? Yeah, if dragon's a boy, then Kalendor is his, and if dragon's a girl, the Sakarnan is it? Like now I'm curious. Okay, I got to go back and listen to what she says later.
One
Yeah.
second. Let me just bring it up.
Oh, excellent. And Megan, thank you for telling me what the Sakarnan was, because I was like, I don't know.
That's why you guys should have read Rivers of Souls before this
I really
came
should have gone.
out.
I keep meaning to. What do you mean when it came out?
Well, I mean before
It's in
this
that-
season came out is what I meant.
Oh, right. Okay.
We had
before the
talked
season
about
came out.
trying to do an episode talking about it, and we never got to it.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but we like to talk, and
That's why we have a podcast. We like to talk.
That's me too. Okay, so she says it's women, which implies that Kalendor is for men.
it does imply that.
It does imply that, which I don't like that if they're saying that the only person who can take it out of the stone is the dragon, and we didn't know if the dragon was a boy or girl. I don't like it.
Unless that's just part of the history not being recorded effectively over 3,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I guess that's possible. Wow.
I mean that might
Unreliable narrators
unreliable narrator. That
and
absolutely could
unreliable
be fine.
Bible writers.
And Bible, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Okay, fine.
That good thing.
Okay, so are we
So-
thinking that the Choden, what we've been calling the Choden Ball, is the
yeah, I would
Sakarnan?
say
Sakarnan.
Choden Bowl is a Sakarnan. Yeah, I
Yes.
think that's it.
I think the Choden. I think what Maureen finds is Karnan because she just said
Mhm.
there's something made for a woman. She and Maureen are in cahoots. Now we have a reason for her to try to take out Maureen at the end of the season. She
Yeah.
wants that because she wants to break her oaths. And I don't think it's in two pieces. I think they're giving us that bit of lore with the bracelets. We've got to go find the two different separate pieces. I think we're removing Shara from the equation, which I love. And I'm
Yeah.
very excited about this. Thank you, Megan.
You're
I
welcome.
think your
Yeah.
headphones just died.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think you either need to bring Shara in much earlier and effectively, or you just kick it out completely. I
And-
see nothing wrong with kicking it out.
Yep.
And then
And it also makes me less feeling the need for demon dread. So I can go back to the Asmodean train.
I would like.
I'm not there, but
we've
I
had
can't.
we've had Mazrin Taim mentioned. I would love if he was like a really dubious character that we weren't sure about the whole time, and then he came to nothing. He was just who he is, and becomes like a chosen later on, like he does in the books. It'll almost be just like a no, we're going to do what RJ did type thing. I think we would hate it, but also be like, now tell us we're not giving you the books. You're like,
This will be the face I'm making. You can't see my face, podcast people, but this is the face I'm making.
but
You
like,
can get an idea.
how many book clerks out there be like, you're not translating these books accurately or right or blah 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 blah, and they'd be like, well, here's Mazrin Taim. We're gonna pretend to give you Taim Dread and then not give it to you just like
Yeah.
RJ did.
Yeah.
And now tell us we're not doing what the books do. Like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Rafe didn't confirm about 8, and so we all wondered if him not confirming 8 Forsaken means that just because Taim's gonna become a Forsaken at the end.
Maybe.
Or we're gonna add one to the mix.
I think there's only two things worth talking about at the end. Firstly, I love the Maid Gideon moment.
Oh,
Like,
yes,
wait, the
at
who?
the end.
Yeah,
The what?
Gideon.
The Mogedian
Being
is
the
a
maid.
maid.
Because you actually see it when it's funny. I need to put it back on screen maybe, but right at the end when you see it goes into the room, they go into the room. It actually like pans across, like the camera adjusts slightly and just captures her, and just like, oh shit, that's just
Who's
like
this woman
so
walking
well
around
done.
the room? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's
So
so
folks, if
good.
you haven't done that, pick that up. I love that. That was a great little tidbit from the books.
Mhm.
And I think we should just talk about the quarter staff scene.
I was just gonna say
And then
we
wrap
we
up.
can't leave
Yeah.
this podcast
Oh,
without talking about that.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't not talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I loved about it. We have not had confirmation that scene is actually happening. Like, it's always been like, it'll kind of be, or maybe there's something like it. Like, Rafe has kind of teased that maybe we wouldn't get it. I've been so worried we wouldn't get it. I literally read that scene to my children like 6 years ago because I was like, because they love spinning staffs. And I'm like, this is what you can do with staff. I've been so wanting it. And I felt like I think I now believe that Rafe and the rest of the team are the Finn. They are, and they were savoring us. Like they were, because they were like, here they're gonna fight, and here comes Matt. Oh, he left. It might not happen. Oh, Matt's running into Gauntlet somewhere. Like maybe. Oh no, it's not gonna happen. And so when it finally happened, I was like, oh, they just savored the shit out of all of
Mhm.
us.
Yeah, it was very
Mhm.
teasy. Yes.
Very teasy,
Mhm.
and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
I loved it. The way Matt says time to toss the dice in Old Tongue
Mm-hmm.
is so just slick and effortless.
Hmm
I was like,
Donald's
dude,
command of the Old Tongue is fucking insane.
It is. Yes.
Donald has a talented tongue.
Wow, sounds like you're speaking from experience.
I think we have a new
We've-
soundbite.
That's a new soundbite. But sorry, I heard someone say that, and I was like, that's one way to describe it. That's for sure.
That's not wrong. If only the novices could attest to that, but they were busy.
They were
next
too busy
door.
with the
Stupid,
fucking
stupid
princes,
novices.
literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fight scene was so. I love how it started very much like episode 208 with the horn music and all that sort of stuff, and
Mhm.
Oh, I loved it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved
little
it bringing the horn
slow-mos.
music in.
and then became just a fight scene.
Mhm.
And I love that Min had an effect on it. Because look, here's the thing: the farmer with a quarterstaff could be two swordsmen. Sure, I can buy that. Like, and I've always bought that, and I've been in the books with it, and I'm fine. But there is an aspect of Matt not being like not really quite having that skill. He's like, I'll trust the bow or the quarterstaff first, for sure. But we saw it with the heroes, and it was hero induced or hero enhanced, and then Min saying maybe we shouldn't like not embrace our gifts
Mm-hmm.
right before he goes in there, and he takes that moment and the music starts and you're like, oh, he's letting that battle lord take over. He's letting his son of battles take over. And
Yeah.
and Nynaeve being like, yeah, you're good, but you weren't that good. Like,
Yeah.
it's
There's definitely when she goes
awesome.
like, oh, you know?
Yeah.
Nice. Like,
Yeah. At first she's like, oh, I'm glad he's kicking their butt. And then she's like, huh. And then when he leaves, she just looks at him like, oh, there's more to this.
yeah.
And it's lovely.
It's so good. It really is.
So good.
I
Can
love
we
how you brought up
also-
Min. I meant to mention something earlier. Sorry. I love the balance between Matt and Min. So Min sees the future, albeit in an uncontrolled way, and Matt has the past
Oh.
in his head. Min has the
Oh.
future in her head. Matt has the past in his head.
They
Like,
balance each other.
They balance each other in that respect, and it was like that
I
was something someone
love
brought up in
that.
my live stream the other day on Thursday, and I was like, I love this so much.
I love that. I
Mm.
love that. That's
So,
great.
sorry, Meg, you were going to say something before I
Well,
started.
just I mean, not that we have any evidence or anything to go by, but where the fuck is the dagger?
Padden Fane stole it again.
I don't know.
Right. Well, Matt came home. Well, Matt came home with the horn,
Uh-huh.
which we all thought Amoresu, like,
yeah.
you know.
Ran
No,
off
you
with.
all thought that. I knew he had it.
Well,
All right then. Where's the dagger then?
I
Missy,
don't
huh?
know. That's
Yeah,
why I'm
yeah.
asking the question.
Well,
good question.
clearly what we thought was just wrong. So
Well, let's see. So
Sorry.
let's follow the path of the dagger. Ooh, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh! I hit a
I
book
thought that
title on that.
I thought that was deliberate for a second,
No,
and then your face. I was going to give you brownie points. I was like, oh,
No,
well
that
done.
just
And then your
kinda
face was
happened.
like, oh, what did I do by mistake? I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough.
So he throws the dagger spear at Rand,
It ran.
and then they pull it out and drops it, and that's the last we see of it.
Uh-huh.
And he doesn't go after Ishi with it.
Right.
Like, he doesn't like, he's just there trying to hold up Rand while Egwene is creating the shield, and then
Yeah.
Perrin comes in to
So
help
do
the
we
shield.
think
But Matt doesn't do anything else
Padden
there.
Fane came and scooped it up before he left with the white cloaks.
I mean, he could have just left it on the tower. He doesn't want anything to do with it after all.
Well, Matt
And he could have
doesn't,
been-
and then
No.
I'm saying Padden Fane comes and gets it.
Yeah, I think Padden
Does
Fane
the
could have
dagger show back up again? Do we need it? Because honestly, Rand's already damaged by it. Like, that with the Padden Fane hitting Rand is
That's
way
a pretty
late.
big deal to have just sitting around not with anybody, potentially bringing
Fair.
Shatter Lagoth vibes to whomever, wherever.
Sure, I agreed, but I do think that, you know, like the dagger is really big in the first two books. Then he gets healed from the dagger, and then, you know, Padden Fane steals it, and then he carries it around for fucking a million years and doesn't use it on Rand until way late. But now Rand's already had it used on him, so we don't need the scene with Caroline Damodred
Yeah,
where Rand
because
gets stabbed. We don't need the fog scene.
the dagger and Rand scene is the
But
complementary.
he uses it in the last battle to bring back zombie Trollocs and all this crazy
He
shit.
does. He also uses it against to manipulate Elayne,
Uh-huh.
we believe.
Huh?
Yes.
Well,
We
not
talked
it
about
specifically, but
this.
him carrying it. You know, he can just like touch people and
His
corrupt
worm
them, or, like-
tonguiness. Yeah.
Yes. It's a combination of what he got from the Dark One and what he got from the dagger.
Jen is
I
shaking her
honestly-
head in a very not like
I
you
mean,
guys are full of shit
yeah.
kind of way. Just
I-
for those of
True.
you just
I don't
listening.
think there's anything wrong with Thane popping over to the top of the tower post battle and finding it,
Yes.
and just being like, "Oh, well, I'll keep this then," you know, because he carries it with no issue. I mean, yeah, I've just, like we've been saying, season 3 is do or die for Padden Thane. Give him the dagger, give him something to do proper in this season, or cut him the fuck loose.
Mhm.
You know, like
Yeah,
Johan
yeah.
Myers is great,
And
you
I
are
think we're
all-
gonna see
Yeah.
the effects of Padden Fane and the dagger influencing Dane.
that could work
I've
really
never
well.
thought that it's the dagger that to me, he's so corrupt at that point that his
Because of
presence
the
is corrupting
dagger.
people. Yes, I know, but he's already there. Like, I've never felt like it's carrying
I
it.
feel
It
like he's
needs to
not
be the
there
dagger.
in the show yet.
He's not there in the show yet. No, he
Yeah.
doesn't corrupt people with
Yeah.
his presence. He hasn't. He is in control of who he is and what he's doing and where he's going. That he is not like that in the books. You know, he is driven by this need, this urge, and he only breaks free after he sort of basically bonds the dagger in essence, and then he becomes his own evil self. You know, and then is just knocked out of contention very easily at the last battle. So yeah, I think we need to keep this dagger. Maybe he gets a moment with Shadow Logoth or something, but I think him and the dagger need to be a pair for the rest of however
Agreed.
long we have him around.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to Rob's beautiful theory from season 1 about the fact that the whole thing that happens with Pat and Fane and Perrin is in Tel'aran'rhiod.
That's that's the reason I'm still clinging on to this Pat and Theta Slayer thing, you know?
Yeah. Because we just saw what it did to Rand, and it didn't do that. I mean, we at the time we were like, maybe it doesn't have as many properties as the one in the books. Blah, blah,
That's a
blah,
pretty
but we
fucked
just
up
saw it, like,
wound.
yeah, it is, and it's not healing. Egwene's still wrapping it,
Right.
so clearly it's not healing. And I know it's analogous to the fight with Balthamel, with Balal, with
Baltimore?
whoever.
Is she?
With yeah.
Oh,
No,
it is with Ishi. You know,
Oh,
you're
it
right.
is-
It is
oh,
with
it
It's
is
Ishi
Ishi,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
staff
yeah,
in
yeah.
his
Baalzamon.
side. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
Baalzamon Ishi.
Yeah.
It's Ishi that we think
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Baalzamon.
It's Baltimore.
But anyway,
It's just the first book battle at the Green
Right,
Man's
right.
place. Yeah.
But I do think that, like, yeah, why didn't, I mean, he didn't just stab Loyal. Like, well, we don't know who else he stabbed. Probably all died, but we know Loyal survived it. And yes, Ogier have magical properties. Fine.
But it's not been addressed by the show at all. In fact, I
No, it
saw a
hasn't.
book cloak complaining about it somewhere, being like, "Well, what we
Yeah.
do, just like stab someone with a sword that kills everyone instantly, and then just never say anything about it again, and then he's back the next season? Like, what?
Right.
We're not going to
Right.
address that, you know?" And I'm like,
Right.
"It's still it's a dream sequence. It's a dream sequence. I'm sitting on this. I've said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. If this doesn't come true, man, seriously."
It's
But if
gonna
it
hurt
does,
so bad.
oh, it's gonna hurt so bad. But if it does, I'm gonna just crow it
Yes.
from the
Oh, yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
rooftops.
Yes. I'm king of the world.
Do you know what? I will do that.
You will
meme.
rent the Titanic, and you will Photoshop you on the Titanic.
I haven't. Because I hear no one talking about this. No one thinking it's a thing. Everyone dismisses the bat scene,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, it's. I think. I don't know. I feel very strongly about it.
Maybe Padden Fane was the one helping Lanfear with the bubble of evil. No, I'm just kidding. But
Well,
no, he's in the Two Rivers.
I know, I'm just fucking proud of him.
yes, yes. But he
Uh,
might not have been. Well, yeah, he would have been. Yeah, because he took the White Cloaks there. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's in the White Cloak gear in
Yeah.
the posters and such. So he has to get there very quickly if he's not already there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah.
All right.
So
Anything
much we could talk
else
into this.
Majorly.
I'm looking at my notes. I don't think so.
I don't think there's anything major. There's lots of small things. There were lots of great name drops, book moment drops. You know, just for fans. You know, we had like Nablus mentioned. We had Tigraine mentioned. We had,
Yep.
you know, the Forsaken names mentioned. We had
Yeah.
Mandarb. You know, lots of things like that. We got the gates for the Waygate.
Mhm.
You know, with the Trefoil Leaf. We got the Longing talked about. You know, there were so many small things that do add to the story and are important longer term, but are also just for us. Matt with the fucking tower, that still kills me. You know.
Mhm.
And I love that. Like, it's fan service that also fit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mhm.
and book moments that just slid in perfectly, and silly things that only matter if you watch like the first season of like Land being like it could be warmer, and now it's like they're making it hotter. You know, just
Mhm.
so many silly
Mhm.
things, and but in the best way.
Even Avienda saying no one who has honor would kill a tinker.
Mhm.
Or the only
Yeah.
the only thing worse than killing the only thing worse than not defending yourself is killing someone who won't
Won't
defend
defend
themselves,
themselves. Yeah,
or that gives you less honor. Like the biggest possible toe creator in the world. But and then immediately after that they say the Shido would do this.
Mhm.
And so like without saying Shido have no honor, Shido
They-
dogs have no
Yeah.
honor. They just said it.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
you know, also again like a great piece for us.
so yeah, it is sort of, and I really love how well it's been received off the bat. You
Mhm.
know, the critical reviews, the fan reviews. It's I'm extremely excited for the rest of the season.
Me too. And the rest of the series, if we can greenlight season 4, please. Thank you.
Come on, Sony. Come on, Sony. We're hearing Amazon are really excited and really thrilled about how the engagement has been pre and during. Like, come on, Sony. You're a gold mine here, Sony. Just do it. You know, I do you know what? I feel more confident about season 4.
Oh, good.
Not that I felt like obviously there was nothing confirmed, and so there's always that worry in the back of your mind.
Right.
But I was never there. Just like I was never on the side of it's going to be cancelled. I was on like I was like, we're going to get a season 4. Just like how quickly we'll get a season 4. You know, it's kind of where I was.
Wait, have there been theories about where Rafe was when his internet was so bad? When he was on?
No, I don't think so. Because he was like, he's in some village and he's used up all of their broadband for the
all the
entire
internet
month
for the
or
week.
whatever.
When was this? Was he
And
on?
I know
It was when he was on
Dusty
Dusty Wheel after the.
And I know he
thing.
has a place. He has a place in Spain. Like I know that he has a place in southern Spain where they all go and hang out.
Yeah, he has
But
talked
David,
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but David was like, we also know that they've gone to some pretty fucking exotic places for writers' retreats. But David was like, he's either location scouting, which I would like to think he's location scouting, but now I'm thinking, or he was already actually on the writers' retreat. You take your writer somewhere where there's no internet, so you can literally get yourself away from everything and just focus in. And now I'm really sad because I'm not there. Still trying to work that angle, but
we'll keep trying. Yeah. We'll keep trying to get you there. So
yeah, but they could, because they got to start.
Yes.
They got to start immediately. They got to go right away. Like, and they could have. We've talked about this before, but they could have a soft green light. They could have not a green light, but they could have a soft pickup, a bridge to just like start getting those stories written.
Yeah, like someone could have been like, you know what, work on the story because if we do go, we're going to want to go fast.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
they can. It doesn't cost anything to keep writers to send writers on a retreat. Really,
Yeah,
it doesn't cost much.
Yeah, so maybe like here's whatever the minimal here's a small amount of money. Go take a writers retreat, put something together so that if season 3 comes out and it's a smash, everyone likes it, they can be like, yes, go for it, and we can get you in production in the fastest time possible. Because you've already written things. So that makes a lot of sense. That feels like a good bet to be in, like as Amazon, especially with what we're hearing about how they love the engagement pre-show. Yeah, like apparently the engagement was wild compared to previous seasons. I'm just like, well, season 1 you had COVID, season 2 you had strikes. I'm not surprised it's wild for season 3. I'm just like, yeah.
So you gotta get the momentum while you can, I guess.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, thanks for sticking around. Most especially if you're one of our patrons who's decided to listen to the entire 3.5 hour recording.
Probably Mom.
Is this our? Yes, probably still Mom. But like anyone's listening back later, is this our longest recording now?
It very well could be. Yes. Which isn't surprising considering we were trying to cover 3 episodes.
3 episodes
that had just dropped.
That had just dropped. So thank you for sticking around. I hope you've enjoyed. Please rate and review the podcast wherever you are listening to us, or like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're doing it on YouTube. Please go and follow the show. We are on Instagram, 3.wheeling, and we are on Blue Sky, which is threewheeling.malkiertalks.com. Our individual Blue Sky accounts are in the show notes. And just share us around. Tell us what you think was great or crazy or insane or funny or hilarious or just anything in between, because we would love to hear that. And
just feed Megan's ego by telling her all of her theories are right.
Because they are, usually.
Never mind, she doesn't need her ego fed.
But please, if you believe me on the dream thing with Pat and Thane from 108, please let me know about that. Because I need to be crying from the rooftops. I need this to be a thing. I was like, I don't know. I think when you feel you're really, really onto something? Like
I feel that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't often feel this strongly about something, and I've felt this strongly since 108 came out. I've been on this since 4 years now. When did it come out? It came out Christmas
2021.
Christmas 21.
Yeah.
So 3.5 years, or just 3 and a bit years I've been on this train.
That really puts it into perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 years. 3 years and basically 3 months I've been on this train.
Yeah.
I need it to be a thing. So, but thank you everyone for listening, and we will see you all next time. So. Bye.
Bye. Once again, we've proven that even when you're the third wheel,
You can always find a place to fit in
Join us next time
on Three Wheeling.
on three-wheeling.
on Free Wheeling.